Another defeat for the Giants, but it's smiles for Aston Golding and the Cassavant Tigers. And Bradford Bulls celebrate, but for Huddersfield the agony goes on. Luke Robinson looks shell-shocked. Mentally, where are the boys at the minute, Luke?
Yeah, look, it's tough. Obviously, it's very tough at the moment.
Huddersfield, of course, sacking coach Luke Robinson this week. What a time it would be to call the biggest upset of the season.
Nugget for the line! Nugget will score!
Really pleased with getting the win, but obviously feelings with Robbo.
Oh, the ball's given away. It's Wolford who's picked their pockets, and this will settle it. And Huddersfield are back in the Super League party.
Well, there has been an on-field revival in recent weeks, maybe, but the ACU Stadium in Huddersfield, the birthplace of Rugby League, has been the subject of much speculation as the Giants prepare for a move away and they hope a new, more suitable home in the future. Tonight, they are readying themselves to face the Rhinos here on Sky Sports. The visitors arrive as favourites, and with a win, would jump to the top of the Betfred Super League table. That's currently the preserve, of course, of St Helens following their victory in the opening game of Round 8 against Hull FC over in the west side of that city last night. Hull Kingston Rovers are putting Toulouse Olympique to the sword in the south of France, and with a win will move up into 6th spot and stay there. Catalan Dragons pushed out of the playoff places and down into 7th. Huddersfield moving themselves gradually away from the foot of the table. Yes, good evening and welcome to the ACU Stadium in Huddersfield. It must be said, a scene of much speculation in recent weeks, and we're going to dive into that very, very shortly as we will be joined by a director of the Huddersfield Giants and a familiar face to Rugby League fans, Ralph Rimmer, as he tells us what the prospects are for the Huddersfield Giants in terms of playing in this stadium in the future, and of course who will be their head coach as the search continues. We'll move on to that into a match preview as the Huddersfield Giants look for 3 on the bounce after a disaster start to the season. Leeds Rhinos though come in here pretty hot form so far for Brad Arthur, and will of course after the final whistle tonight continue and pick up that conversation that dominated yesterday's broadcast as we bring you club reaction to the visit of NRL Chief Executive Andrew Abdo and the potential NRL investment into the game over here. We'll do it all in the company of John Wilkin and Kevin Brown, who join us here pitchside on a pitch that you had many, many enjoyable years, Kev.
I did. It was a real good time. It was one of my favourite experiences playing and captaining this club, and I was here for 6.5 years. I moved over to the area, still got lots of friends around the area, and it's good to be back.
Well, what stood out from your time playing here, apart from in one of these clips cutting through some paper-thin St Helens defence? More on that shortly.
Yeah, oh look, we just had a group and a backs against the wall sort of feel. You know, we did a lot under John Sharp originally, and then Nathan Brown came in and transcend the club and transcend my career. He taught me how to play the game, and a lot of the stuff I learnt at Huddersfield I took to... What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at
It's a very consistent theme.
You went through.
No, yeah, they troll through the clips, not very hard, I might add, to find me missing tackles and like to show it and think I don't see it. But I always see it, Kev. He was a real thorn in our side, especially when you were here, maybe when you went to Widnes. You were at Widnes as well. But the Huddersfield side with Kevin Brown in it, especially that Nathan Brown era, it was almost an iconic period in the club's history, wasn't it?
What might somebody who hasn't played here, lived here and experienced the rugby league environment around here know about the club and about the area?
It's so family friendly, and that starts with Ken. He was always present at the training ground, and you know, we brought his family, and obviously Rebecca's here now as well, his granddaughter, and it was always a real happy place regardless of results. We loved to play, and we loved to play hard, and you know, sometimes the results didn't happen, but there was always a collective feel that you could do anything for your mate and everyone would do each other favours. It was a great place to be, and the culture, what not only under Nathan Brown and John Sharp and even the assistants and Coops, the conditioner, there were such good people at the club. And there still is, you know, a lot of the players, and Leroy Cudjoy, he's a club legend. He's a great player, great fella.
Still had to show your ID coming in here. we saw that at the gate. Listen, we're going to dive into the future of the Huddersfield Giants very shortly. It is, though, a very busy night in the Betfred Super League. Hull Kingston Rovers, of course, in action against Toulouse. That's coming to an end. They're putting them to the sword. York will be in action very shortly in Lee over the LNER Community Stadium. And there for us is Fraser Dainton.
Well, after missing out on the Challenge Cup over the course of the weekend, it's now full focus on Super League for both York Knights and the Lee Leopards. And having had a raft of players either injured or cup-tied last week, Mark Applegarth has made several changes to the York Knights side tonight. Cody Hunter comes in. He's on loan from Newcastle and he starts at halfback. Ben Littlewood is on loan from Leeds. He starts at loose forward. David Nofaluma comes in at fullback. Jack Martin comes in at prop. And Sam Wood comes in at centre. As for Lee Leopards, they're starting to get a few players back. AJ Towers makes his first appearance of the season. That's due to an injury to Amila Hanley. There's no Tessie New tonight, but Frankie Holton returns at the second row. Lee Leopards head coach Adrian Lamb has challenged his players. He says he thinks they can finish perhaps in the top 2 come the end of the season. If that's to be the case, they have to get a victory here tonight.
Oh, that is true. They got to ignite their season, Fraser, no doubt about that. York will want to stem a run of 4 consecutive Super League defeats. Both the boys have gone for a Lee win in this one. Right, let's focus on the game here at the ACU Stadium in Huddersfield. Well, their jaw-dropping win away at Wigan was followed up by another 2 precious competition points claimed here against York. Can the Huddersfield Giants continue their climb away from the foot of the table with a 3rd consecutive Super League victory that just might have many reassessing their season's prospects? Well, a positive result against a Rhinos side with designs on moving top of the table will not come easy. Leeds are themselves looking for a 3rd win on the spin after a miserable March spell that saw them bounced out of the Challenge Cup and defeated by Hull in the league. Well, it's not often we devote time in a pre-match build-up to a stadium, but there's no getting away from it in times of change. What happens here with Huddersfield and whether or not they stay in the stadium, where indeed they end up playing, is a huge talking point.
Yeah, I think this stadium's been a problem for Huddersfield for a number of years. The size of it, the scale of it, often feels like with a diminishing crowd, they rattle around this stadium. It's hard to generate match day atmosphere. It's hard to really recreate big game intensity at this stadium just because of how sparsely populated it is. And there's 2 issues there. One is the size of the stadium, and 2 is maybe Huddersfield's inability over time to actually draw a casual fan base and increase their fan base. It's something they've struggled with, and it's what Ken Davies said has been his biggest struggle in his life, is actually finding fans to fill a stadium like this.
He has been one of the greatest individual benefactors we've seen in the game of rugby league. He has promised them a stadium. It's not that easy a thing to deliver, but he is determined, it seems, to find or build an appropriately sized stadium for this club, and he feels that may be the catalyst to improve.
He's tried everything else, and it isn't for lack of effort from Ken. I remember when I played here, we used to love playing here, but it was quite empty, and he opened up the stand once for free against the Catalan Dragons, and it still felt a little bit empty, and I think there was over 15,000, but you'd need over 20 to fill it. So logistically, it isn't going to be easy just to find a stadium, because it's got to tick boxes, it's got to be local, it's got to be up to Super League standards, and there are a couple that stand out. I think Halifax is probably the front runner, and when I was here, we played there a couple of times when the pitch was being ripped up. Great atmosphere. It felt like more of a home place that is intimidating. At the moment you come here, it's almost nice to play when you're an away player. There's no pressure. You've got a good pitch, but there's not many fans here cheering on.
Well, they're realistic at the club here. They know that's a challenge that they have to get around. There are plans in place for that. They do have to improve. There's no question about it on the field as well. 2013 League Leader Shield winners here. And there has been a noticeable decline in recent years. The odd good year, but generally a downward trend. Yeah,
they've just not been consistently in that top 6 or near the top 6. And you're right, it's been a gradual decline, and it's been, I suppose, the transition of coaches. You know, every 20 months or so we've seen a coach come and a coach go. And there comes a point where, look, consistency of performance will draw a crowd. Absolutely. But there's more to it than that. And I think that this club has missed an opportunity to draw a casual fan base on a number of occasions. The stadium's part of it, the success of the football team's part of it, the socio-demographic makeup of this area is part of it. Leeds being 14 miles away, Wakefield's 12 miles away. It's very competitive in this part of the world for the casual fan, and that's where Huddersfield needs to be better.
If indeed that list are part of the problems for the Huddersfield Giants, a man that must solve them is standing by with Jenna. Jenna.
Yeah, before we speak to him, I just want to recap something that happened last night at the MKM Stadium. We, of course, were in Hull to see St Helens beat the Black and Whites. It turned out to be the final game for John Cartwright, who was head coach. The club today has released a statement saying that he has stepped down from his day-to-day duties. Andy Last will take control effective immediately until the end of the year. They have also confirmed that Steve McNamara will leave Warrington at the end of this year to link up with the Black and Whites as their head coach on a 4-year deal. So plenty of change at Hull FC. As you guys have touched on, there is also plenty of change here in Huddersfield. And who better to speak to than the man who is in charge of change, the director of change, Ralph Rimmer. Ralph, we now know that John Cartwright is available. Could he potentially be a candidate for the next head coach here at the Giants?
Yeah, well, he could be, absolutely. He's a highly credible candidate, and I mean, everybody gives him a good rap, but luckily we've managed to conjure up a list of highly credible candidates, I'm very pleased to say. So, yeah, it's not unreasonable to think he wouldn't come under consideration, but there's 1 or 2 more names on that list that might be of interest as well.
Can you give us any of those names?
I don't think so, no.
When can we expect an announcement?
Well, it's unreasonable to think he wouldn't come under consideration, but there's 1 or 2 more names on that list that might be of interest as well.
Can you give us any of those names?
I don't think so, no.
When can we expect an announcement?
Well, ideally in the next 2 or 3 weeks. It's really important that we get the right person. We've worked, we've worked hard to put that list together. We did a very particular piece of content when Luke departed the clubs, because we wanted to demonstrate to everybody out there the kind of journey that the club was on, and I think that's played a part in generating that interesting list.
The other big story when it comes to this club is the stadium. Where will Huddersfield be playing? There's talk that perhaps the Shea temporarily from next season. Is that true? And after that, where will you be playing?
Well, I think that's highly probable as far as the Shea goes in the short term, yes. But we are looking at many different options. I've been in fairly protracted talks with the local authority on where we might find a site nearby. It's not straightforward, as you would expect, but what I absolutely can tell you, we will be in an 8,000 to 10,000 seater capacity stadium within the next 3 or 4 years. We'll be playing to some sellout crowds, and we'll have generated a club that has a club for people to be proud of, a banging atmosphere of a club.
Ralph Rimmer, thank you so much for speaking to us. There you go, Brian. Things certainly seem to be on the up when it comes to this club.
Jenna, Ralph, thank you very much. We've tried to put our own list together of potential candidates here to replace Luke Robinson on a permanent basis. Liam Finn, of course, is caretaker coach. Kevin, looking at that list, Ralph's keeping his list to himself. Could you see anybody there jumps out, as you say, do you think might end up here on a permanent basis?
Oh, look, there's some good names. There's a lot of experience there, and there's some fantastic young English coaches. The name at the bottom, Ryan Hinchcliffe, is an interesting one. He's obviously been a good player at this club. He's gone back. He was very well received at the club. He was built on effort and hard work and came through Melbourne. He's gone back to Melbourne and he's working under Craig Bellamy. So I think he may be someone who they look at, but I think there's probably a few more names not on the list who they're potentially looking at from Australia as well, Brian.
Kyle Eastman jumped out for me on that list.
Yeah, Kyle Eastman. I think Eamon O'Carroll might be a name that would be on that list as well. I think, look, coaching is part of the issue here, but letting the coach recruit players and be involved in recruitment of players is something that I think needs to change. It's been something that's been managed by the executives. I think the coach needs to be involved in 2 things at this club: the salary cap and how it's constructed, and the genuine long-term recruitment of players. And if that changes, I feel positive. Look, I'm all for plans like Ralph's discussing, but things do need to change at this club without a doubt.
Okay, wise man once said to me, the most important person at any sports club is that one that recruits the players. Okay, let's talk about this uptick in results for the Huddersfield Giants. They go away to Wigan and they shock the competition with a victory. They back that up with a win over the York Knights. Change of coach or a return of personnel?
Yeah, return of personnel. Liam Finn was the attack coach under Luke Robinson, so their attack's not all of a sudden miraculously become better because Liam Finn's in charge. But certainly bringing players like Adam Clune and Niall Evans back into the team, it gives you a crispness and a quality to your attack and a direction and leadership. What we'll see here, if we look at a clip from Bradford earlier in the season, it's a play what they execute, but it's poorly executed. The lead runners, the decoy runners are flat. it lacks momentum, forward momentum. Ultimately, Bradford get it down to man-on-man. But when you put the right personnel, Kev, it can look very different.
Yeah, you look at the width for pass. You look at Adam Clooney's moving on to the ball. He's intent. The next lead is intent as well, and it just looks so much different. Look, John, everyone's doing these plays now, aren't they? So it's how you do it, the attention to detail, the deception, how quick you do it, and then the execution at the end of it. Adam Clune, the man on screen, is one of the best at all of the above.
Yeah, and I think he brings a confidence to the team, a belief to the team, but his execution, Kev's right, a lot of people replicate plays and it comes down to the execution. I think really great ball players, Niall Evalds, a great fullback, are demanding of players around them to be genuine options. If Kev ran a play in his pomp, the lead runners and the decoy runners around him would be on point, and that's what Adam Clune has brought to this team. It's not a Luke Robinson issue, it's just a personnel issue.
Observation from watching him those last 2 weeks, they are easy on the eye, Huddersfield Giants, would you agree?
Absolutely. I spoke to Luke Robinson only yesterday. We caught up with my old mate, and I was saying, what type of stuff did you do in the pre-season? And he said, what you're seeing now when the spine's back. He didn't have them 4 players once to use altogether. So I do feel a little bit sorry for Robbo that he didn't get a chance, but a lot of the stuff that we're seeing now, John's absolutely right. Liam Finn and Luke Robinson put the seeds in when these players were fit in the pre-season, and now they're reaping the rewards. But it's just unfortunate that Luke's not here to see them.
And I think the timing of Luke's demise, obviously, just before that Wigan game, when Evalds and Clune come back in, is unfortunate, isn't it? They've been ravaged by injuries. They've been training on a substandard facility for 2 years, and it's cost them a lot of injuries. Probably cost Ian Watson his job. Probably on the way to costing Luke Robinson his job by the number of players they've had out injured. Now that's been addressed. They've got players coming back. Liam Finn benefits, and ultimately the next coach who comes in will benefit also.
OK, we can hear from the coaches now. Brad Arthur in charge of the Leeds Rhinos, of course, and the interim coach at the Huddersfield Giants, with designs maybe on the top job. Jenna, Liam Finn.
And what a start he's had. 2 games in charge, 2 wins. Liam, what exactly have you changed?
Well, we got some personnel back. That made a massive impact for us. And obviously we've just tried to work on building a little bit of confidence and getting us combinations back and putting a couple of good performances that obviously helped that.
Tonight you've got the Leeds Rhinos. What kind of challenge do they present?
Yeah, first and foremost it's a physical challenge. They pride themselves on their physicality, especially at the start of games. So we've got to make sure we match that physicality early doors and play our style of rugby and try and cause them a few problems.
Liam Finn, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll let you go, and we'll bring in Leeds Rhinos head coach Brad Arthur. I'm just speaking to the man in charge at the minute here at Huddersfield. They've seemed to turn their season around. They've won their last 2 games. What are you expecting from Huddersfield tonight?
They're playing with plenty of confidence. That's what happens when you get your full squad back, and they haven't got a lot of injuries at the moment. So they're playing with a bit of confidence. They're working hard for each other, and that's what we're expecting from them tonight.
Another team that has got all their players out there almost is the Leeds Rhinos. You've opted for Jack Bird as opposed to Harry Newman. We saw, of course, Harry Newman in action at Hull FC last night. What does he need to do to get back in the team?
Well, look, Harry's aware of it. He's a very good player, and when he's at his best, he's part of our squads and part of our team. Look, there was a couple of defensive things that he needed to get on top of from a couple of weeks ago, and Jack got his opportunity, and Jack's made the most of it. He got the man of the match last week, and so it creates really good, healthy competition for spots, and I'm very fortunate.
Brad Arthur, good luck tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
There's a lovely plot on the field. Reigning man of steel, Jake Connor, at the end of the 2024 season, start of the 2025 season, released by the Huddersfield Giants to the Leeds Rhinos. No real place in the team for him at the Leeds Rhinos. Took the season by storm. Crown man of steel, now faces his old team.
Yeah, I think it's a great story. One of adversity. Jake Connor has found a home at Leeds, and with Brad Arthur, I think somebody who holds him accountable. Visibly, Jake Connor's fit, isn't he? I think that's something you couldn't say about him at his time during Huddersfield. Spent large swathes of his career at Huddersfield maybe out of condition, Kev.
Yeah, it's a really difficult one for coaches to keep players in line when they're so good, but they have to do it. And I think what Brad Arthur's done is there's no uncertainty. You are training hard if you're going to play in this team. And I think another person there who he really respects, the man on screen now is Scott Griggs. Scott Griggs was a player at Huddersfield when Jake was at Huddersfield, coming through as a young player, and he tells me now that Scott Griggs is the best attacking coach he's worked with, so he's got lots of people in his corner making him and demanding that they get the best out of him.
Yeah, and we look at the Leeds side. Do you know why I get excited about watching Leeds? I think about Lockie Miller, Brodie Croft and Jake Connor together.
You're thinking about Las Vegas.
Yeah, but I can't get Las Vegas out of my head, Brian.
So good were they?
They were so good in Las Vegas, and I watched them and I thought, this is it now. Leeds are going to kick on here, and they're going to win silverware this year. I thought the speed of the game would suit Brodie Croft, would suit Lockie Miller, and maybe it's just not quite got back to that level. But you feel if it can click, and they're physically right in the middle of the field, players like Lockie Miller, Brodie Croft, Jake Connor can have a day on any field in this competition.
Well, they did hit a bump in the road with that cup exit at the hands of Wakefield Trinity, followed up by a Super League defeat to Hull FC, but they are back on track. We are moving ever closer to kick-off here in the ACU Stadium. Now, back in 2013 was the scene of Huddersfield's greatest ever moment in Super League. Busy day in the Betfred Super League. First cab off the rank was the champions Hull Kingston Rovers taking on Toulouse Olympique in the south of France. They led 18-0 at half-time and cut loose in the second 40. This is the second of Joe Burgess's 2 tries, his 10th of the season, as KR win 46-0 against the Toulouse side, now in a world of trouble. Well, let's take you to the LNER Community Stadium in York, where the Knights are preparing to face the Lee Leopards. 4 consecutive Super League defeats for Mark Applegarth's side. Can they turn that around against the Lee side, who if they're going to back up their coaches' midweek predictions for their side, they will need to get their season going shortly. Oh, we're at the ACU Stadium for the first meeting of the season between the Giants and the Rhinos. Oh, Huddersfield slowly moving away from the bottom of the table after a miserable start to the season that saw them part ways with head coach Luke Robinson. Well, these are the Rhinos. They are in town and they will climb to the top of the ladder for tonight, at least with a win here. Huddersfield's mini revival has coincided with the return from injury of some of their stars. Too late to save Robinson, so Liam Finn stays in interim charge. But after consecutive victories, he will no doubt have strengthened his candidacy for the job on a permanent basis. So 2 from 2 for Liam Finn. This is his 17 tonight. Well, Niall Evalds marked his return from injury with a try against Wigan in his first appearance of the season. He followed up with a try in the round 7 victory over the Knights. On the wings are Adam Swift and Jacob Douglas, who comes in for the injured Tanguy Zenon. Another injuries in the centres. There is no Conor Wrench, so Sam Halsall, who's missed the last 5, joins the excellent Jacob Gagai, who backed the brace against the Knights. In the halves are Adam Clune and Tui Lolohea, who made 17 appearances for Leeds back in 2019. In the front row is the ever-present George King, Zach Wolfer, the hooker, and Fenton Rogers, who continues to impress. In the back row of an unchanged pack is Asher O'Donnell, Chris Patolo and Tristan Powell. Strong subs bench available for interim coach Liam Finn, and the 18th man is Harry Rushton, last seen in the round after round 1, where he broke his thumb against the Catalan Dragons. It is Kevin Brown, a very strong 17 for Liam Finn.
Yeah, it's almost full strength, isn't it? And we've mentioned the spine, but they've got pace out wide. But one player that I've been really impressed with, especially recently, is Tristan Powell at loose forward. He's been sensational. He was the player of the match last week against York, and he is the conduit between the forwards and the backs.
Well, Leeds won 24-12 against the Bulls over Easter weekend. The Challenge Cup exit has given them, like the Giants, extra time off to prepare for this. Brad Arthur's 50th game in charge. Fullback is Lockie Miller. Mike Acevo, the competition's leading try scorer on one wing. The competition's all-time leading try scorer Ryan Hall on the other. In the centres are Ash Handley and Jack Bird, whose impressive performances have kept Harry Newman out of the side and shifted him on loan to Hull FC. In the halves are former Man of Steel Brodie Croft and reigning Man of Steel Jake Connor, who after 100 appearances for the Giants was released to join Leeds ahead of the 2025 season, which he took by storm. It's a front row of Holroyd, Jenkins and Jared O'Connor, who makes his second consecutive start. And the back row is Chris Hankinson, James McDonagh and Keenan Paliasia on the bench. And it is an impressive bench for the visitors. Nikolai Oletsky, Callum Watkins, Cameron Smith-John and Danny Levi.
Yeah, we spoke about the spine of this team also, the Miller, Croft and Connor. If it gets quick, they'll make hay. But I want to point out Mike Seaver on the wing. 12 tries in 2026 so far. For people who don't know much about this man, he is destructive at finishing in tight spaces. Big, strong body on the wing. Look out for him dotting the ball down here.
12 tries so far for Maiko. Leeds' top try scorer last season was Ryan Hall with 13 after the entire season. Prediction time. Kevin, who wins this one and why?
I think Huddersfield, I think the momentum that they've got under Liam Finn and having that wave of players back fit, I think they can do the job. I think they'll surprise Leeds at how good they are. They've had the effort over the course of the season, but now they've got the quality.
He's changed his mind, Brian. He's changed. He's got here. He's felt the atmosphere building.
When the facts change, he changes his mind. What do you do? Well, here is the match ball delivery in spectacular style by the Royal Marines. Abseiling off the roof. More details on that a little later. What a big atmosphere here, and no doubt boosted by the performances of the Huddersfield Giants in their last two Super League games. A win away at Wigan, followed up by an impressive victory here over the York Knights. But they know the quality of the opposition they face. It's round 8 of the Betfred Super League. Get ready for this one in the company of our commentary team of John Wells and Dave Woods.
Thank you, Brian. Well, Huddersfield threatening to turn the table upside down, aren't they, on the back of those two consecutive eye-catching wins. Leeds Rhinos could be table toppers come the end of the evening. This is a fixture that fascinates in a way it would not have done only 3 weeks ago. There is a tale to be told whichever way this unravels tonight. John Wells alongside me.
Yeah, good evening, Dave. Good evening, everybody. And take a look at the man on your screen, Adam Clune. Just game number 3 for him this season. The boys have talked about him pitch side. He's had an immediate impact. His performance in that victory against Wigan, the catalyst for those 2 victories, was terrific. He's really got hold of this team and provided real direction on the field. The same could be said for his opposite number this evening. I think Jake Connor, look, he's still got that love-hate stuff in his game, hasn't he? But for me, he's really developed into a first-class organiser. Huge talent, and always was. He's bolted on some patience now as well.
Yeah, the last time Huddersfield won 3 out of 3 2 years ago was against Leeds, and Jake Connor was in their colours that night and was outstanding. So Huddersfield hoping for a reoccurrence of one of those facts, and hoping against the other that very nearly hometown boy Jake Connor doesn't come back to haunt them tonight. Off we go, and it's a big kick that tests the dimensions of the pitch right from the start. It's an early error, and if Huddersfield needed heavy lifting, there you have it.
Well, over-kicked by Lockie Miller. I tell you what, he was actually a really intelligent leave as well at the back. There's a couple of calls there in between Adam Swift, who stood on the base, retreating to the baseline, and George King. Late call comes in, really smart.
Well, that sets the tempo and just lifts the atmosphere a little further in a stadium that might not be famous for it, but is very nearly rocking at the moment as O'Donnell takes in that early challenge. Wolford out of dummy half. It's Lollahea who's involved as well, and the formidable form of Fenton Rogers pushing again and taking his club a little bit closer. It's going to be Powell now who comes crashing forward, but he's just about held up short of where he wants to go. Quickly again, and King will reach, and they score! Have they? Referee yet to confirm. Has a look, now steps back. He's going to point the finger. He's pointed the finger, and inside the opening 2 minutes, George King for Huddersfield, and they are delighted.
That is the start. Now, that is how to start a rugby league game. George King and Adam Swift, a call on the run from the kick-off. They got the penalty on halfway, and I tell you what, it was a fairly good touch finder as well. Put them bang in position, and then no messing around, straight through the front door. This is where it started. It was an inauspicious kick from Lockie Miller. Well, that was a pretty lax piece of defence from the Leeds Rhinos. They found themselves on their heels. Passive tackle from Palacia, and George King straight through the front door. That is a start.
I think that's his first try of the season. They've got a lot of firsts going on Huddersfield in this last few weeks, haven't they? First win, first appearance by some big names, first try ever for Zach Walford a couple of weeks ago, and now a first of the season for George King.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's had his ups and downs as well, hasn't he? He's found himself in and out of this team. He's worked incredibly hard to make himself a mainstay and a starting middle once again. And that was Route 1 stuff, wasn't it? I think there'll be some... clearly, there's no panic. There's 2 minutes on the clock. But
still 78 minutes to go, John.
There'll be some conversations underneath the post there. Middle forward, they were unpicked very, very easily, weren't they? Zach Wolford just stepped out of dummy half. Simple pass. This will be knocked over by Tuilola here, and it's a dream start for the home side.
Well, 6-0 down without getting your hands on the ball is not a good look, is it? But as you say, still a long, long time to go. Lola Hare puts it over, and it is Huddersfield 6, Leeds 0.
Do you know what? Leading into this game, I think I know what I was going to expect from Leeds. They've been picking up wins throughout this season without pulling up trees of late. The real point of interest for me coming here today was Huddersfield, what we were going to see. You know, whether those last 2 wins have set themselves up for the season. Well, on the evidence of the first 2 minutes, I think I've got my answer.
Yeah. Well, we've been talking about what's been happening. That win against Wigan a couple of 3 weeks ago now, wasn't it?
That was terrific.
Totally unpredictable. But a couple of weeks ago against York, I mean, we talk about the return of Adam Clune, but Niall Evalds really caught the eye in that game as well. With what he adds.
He's the class angle, is Niall, and I think as a fullback that really can pick holes. His time is impeccable. It really offers that extra out for a player like Adam Clune. Do you know they've scored more points in the last 2 games in those victories than they have in the rest of the season combined, and that's just how different it is. It's been night and day.
Yeah. Leeds will have their say. Leeds will play their part in this. Make no mistake about that. But at the moment, the headlines are being written by Huddersfield. They find themselves on the last, so there will be a kick downfield off the boot of Lola Hare. There's some spin on that. Miller's underneath it, but he's solid. The chase is good. Leeds get the ball for the very first time, but only 10 from their own line.
Yeah, good set after points as well. They've got 90 metres and the kick chase is solid. Look at them now.
Speed.
Line speed is strong. Nowhere for the Leeds players to go.
Well, Leeds got a problem to fix, but they have the wherewithal. We've got a big travelling fan base here tonight as well. They're making up about half the crowd here. So they've got plenty of support.
There's your danger man for the Leeds Rhinos, and the Huddersfield Giants, as the Rhinos fans watch on, will be looking for Lockie Miller to spark them into life. Look, this is a side, the visiting side, absolutely stacked with talent.
So Jake Connor with boot to ball to end that set, and Evalds just shuffles into position and offers it off to Jacob Douglas, of course, who's season-long loan from St Helens, having starred a couple of weeks ago. And now it's Leeds' turn to turn up the tempo and put a bit of pressure on this Huddersfield line trying to come out. Swift is dealt with.
Good to see Adam Swift back and fit as well. He's been one of many casualties at the start of this season. He's been a favourite of mine to watch for many years.
Yeah, said it often. If he'd not had the injuries he's had, he'd be one of Super League's top scorers, wouldn't he?
Absolutely.
His scoring rate is fantastic. Lola Hare at the end of this. Just a bit of the outside of the boot caught with that. And talking about players with fantastic scoring rates, here comes Mike Osivo.
Yeah, what he's doing at the moment is ridiculous, Mike Osivo. 12 tries, 6 games, strike rate of 2. I think you look at the great wingers in Super League. Leslie Fine-Nicolo had a strike rate of 136 and 136. What he's doing at the moment is incredible.
So Leeds looking to settle and looking to just earn themselves a little bit of a position here. O'Connor at a dummy half, feeding it right, and they're trying to just urge those big bodies through in the shape of Holroyd. Still a couple of plays to go in this set, so Leeds fancy they might be setting themselves up for something here as Handley looking to step against the grain, but defenders who came were committed. And there's one play to go. So Connor puts it high. Swift comes advancing a long way from where starting position and has taken it absolutely superbly.
Yeah, 100% commitment from Swift. There were plenty of bodies there in and around the landing zone for that ball. I think he's taken that really well.
Commitment and confidence bundled up in the shape of Adam Swift, who took that superbly.
You know, coming forward to the ball's never the easiest thing as well. You know, running into traffic.
Oh, Rogers with a brilliant offload. Did really well. O'Donnell now on the angle. But Leeds responding and having to, because they are being asked a lot of questions here in these early stages by Huddersfield. Lola here with a kick that is just interesting, Douglas, with a chase. But I think the first target was to get it out of play, which he has done. And Leeds start from an uncomfortable position, 10 from their own line.
Smart end to a set from Lola here. All the experience in the world, hasn't he? And this is just a stab into the corner. The second kick of the ball takes it into touch. It's a great result. It's another 100-metre set. A smart play by the Huddersfield half.
Leeds again with hard yards to be earned. And Ryan Hall has had some memorable moments on this field down the years, hasn't he? One in particular. Connor out of dummy half again, and they are stalking closer to their opponent's half. O'Connor does well here.
Yeah, good out of dummy half, that.
Connor takes over. Handley now with a bit of electricity, and Miller stumbling through. Just got a touch from a first defender which hampered his run, but he's taken his side to within kicking position, or maybe even through hands. It is through hands, and it's Brodie Croft who slides in with the perfect response. It's a roar of delight we're getting used to, and Leeds have their answer.
Yeah, that is a fair riposte from the Leeds Rhinos. Just got themselves on the front foot. It was that darting run from Jared O'Connor, followed up by Ash Handley, and then some brilliant interplay between half and 5/8 in the middle of the field, and Brodie Croft crosses for his 7th of the season. The line that Brodie Croft runs is pretty special. That's the carry from Ash Handley. He put Lockie Miller through a gap. He's got an absolute hatful of tackle bust, by the way, this season. Really dangerous player. And then take a look at the line. Crisp ball from Connor. The line just does George King. Cuts back against the direction of the sliding defence and waltzes in. Brodie Croft, try number 7. And the Leeds Rhinos, well, they have woken up the crowd at that far end of the field as well.
Never less than exhilarated, Brodie Croft, when he scored a try. Jake Connor with a chance to add another 2 here to bring it back level again. It's a great start to the game, isn't it? We expected something a little bit zingy tonight, and that's exactly what we've got right at the beginning. He does put it over, 6-6.
Zingy Dave. Zingy Dave. I think there's going to be some points here, clearly. You know, both teams playing on top of the ground. Some real front foot stuff already we've seen. And take another look at the try-scoring play. Just a nice crisp pass from Connor, but look, he was able just to catch and pass because of the line that was offered by Croft. And you're right, he really enjoys scoring tries, doesn't he?
It's only round 8 of the Super. We're a third of the way through, aren't we? Just about. Oh, and there's another long kick and another one that's gone too long. And now Tui Lola here has committed the ultimate sin from the centre spot by giving Leeds a penalty on the halfway line.
Yeah, they've doubled up, haven't they? Conceded points and then conceded territory. And a chance for the Leeds Rhinos to double down. And then they looked very, very crisp, haven't they, in the right area of the field.
So Lockie Miller looking to find touch there. You can see it's a good couple of inches and beyond that whitewash. So Leeds set fair as Hankinson playing in the second row this last couple of games for Leeds now. It's with Connor helping it again for a big surge from Holroyd, who threatened to make the ultimate break, and then out of dummy half it's taken. Brilliant sense of what was ahead of him from Jared O'Connor, saw an opportunity, and just like that, Leeds are in the lead.
Smart stuff from Jared O'Connor, but I tell you what, if you can give a try assist to play before, then give it to Tom Holroyd. That was some run. Route 1, barnstorming, set down a real challenge for the Huddersfield Giants defence, and they just couldn't live with it, could they? This is the error from the kick-off. Tuilol here just over kicks it a bit. Lockie Miller's kick puts them into position. And then Holroyd, I mean, just get out of the way. I mean, the Giants, they didn't really have much option, were they? And that's smart. No markers, no set defence. Jared O'Connor snipes out a dummy half. We've got some good hookers in our sport. Some really intelligent dummy half players. Zach Wolford is one on the opposite side. Jared O'Connor has just underlined his status as another.
Having reclaimed his starting position in the hooking role a couple of weeks ago in the Good Friday game against Bradford, and building on that with his first try of the season, Jared O'Connor. And the whole place hushes as Jake Connor gets ready to try and add the two here, and he does again. And from a backward start, Leeds have suddenly found themselves in forward gears, and at some pace lead by 12 points to 6.
Yeah, and why not smile, Jared? But I tell you what, credit Tom Holroyd. Get out of the way. And then really well spotted from dummy half from O'Connor. Gets up, goes, gets down low. 12 points to 6, and that's the Leeds Rhinos have been shaken into life after that terrific start by the Giants.
18 points in the opening 12 minutes.
Brilliant, isn't it?
We might have more on our hands here because Leeds are looking wide again, and Handley offering a threat. Defenders across. Marcus Sevo was just hovering on that outside. Instead, it's Hankinson now who'll take it forward. And look at the progress they're making here already, and a set restart as well. So another set of 6 from here. My goodness, what a response Leeds are providing here at the moment. And here's a man who's very much leading it, Holroyd again. O'Connor just moseying up there, looking what's ahead of him. Again, it's a dummy half run, this time a little more lateral. Handley. It's with Connor, the no-look pass that looked a little forward as well. He didn't look, I don't think the referee looked, because it wasn't given. O'Connor again, now it's with Connor. Holroyd's doing some work, but he's chopped down on the 5th, so want to play. Connor just dinking it up there. There's a threat here, there's a threat here. The ball's allowed to bounce, and Pebbles drops on it, and Huddersfield get away with it.
Yeah, Huddersfield fullback is first to the ball and recovers that. A penalty given away by the Leeds Rhinos on the second player multiplier. That's manna from heaven for the Huddersfield Giants. Chris Hankinson, the culprit, just snuck high. It was Jacob Douglas who was trying to clear his lines. No, it was O'Connor actually over the top.
A little extra rush of adrenaline, and Huddersfield now, whose adrenaline has been drained over the last few minutes, have a chance to build momentum again once more. This is O'Donnell waiting at dummy half. Lola here's on his inside, but O'Donnell fancies a wander by himself and just engages the attention of 4 defenders in total.
Yeah, I've been really impressed by him as well. I think he's been a real unsung hero in this Giants side. I haven't seen him have a poor game this season, despite the results up until the last couple of weeks.
He's brother of Kai, isn't he, who you might remember at Lee not that long ago. Huddersfield again, just beginning to build. Searching that blind side, a step that takes them ever closer. 1 play to go. Who gets the responsibility here of laying it on a platform, hopefully? It's Clune who sticks it up there. But Micah Siva, that's a kick that's much too long. It's an easy take for Siva, and it's a very easy tap back on the 20.
And just to make things worse, as they get a 7-tackle set, there's an injury to Halsall who's down untouched. That's never a good sign. I don't know whether it's a collision off the ball but Halsall is in all sorts of bother in the backfield. There'll be a reshuffle here.
Well, he missed the last 5 with a hamstring. No medical expert, but I don't think that looks like a hamstring injury, does it? But we'll keep an eye on that. It's Connor, Hankinson, showing a dummy, engaging a couple of defenders, King and O'Donnell, and now the referee will stop the game, because I think the doctor's on the field here for Leeds.
Yeah, it's clearly in a fair bit of discomfort. I'm fairly certain it is Sam Halsall, unfortunately, who is down on the field, and they're assessing something. Now, Huddersfield were in possession, and he was out in the centre. I was tracking the run of Douglas, actually, who was chasing the long kick from Adam Clune. So unless he's rolled an ankle or clashed with somebody in the kick chase, And we're hoping that he's going to be able to shake this one off. He's had some fair bit of trouble with injuries as well. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to continue, Dave. That's a real shame for the lad.
Tough game, isn't it? Tough sport, both mentally and physically. He's been out for a few weeks.
He just pulls up far left of your screen. Far left of your screen. Now, untouched, they're never good.
No.
Well, we wish you all the best, Sam, because you've had your fair share to deal with, and I'm sure Jen will be across that and finding out what the injury is. But our best wishes.
The strapping, an indicator of the problems he's had ahead of this game. So as he departs to the respective applause, Leeds with a set, and well, half a set to have a go at this Huddersfield line. A couple of plays to go. Croft again is involved. He's trying to introduce an element of doubt in that Huddersfield defence. This will be the last, so Croft will stick it high. They're coming from all over the place. Where's this ball bouncing? And well, Croft got a touch again, and in the end, O'Connor just diffuses any potential problems by grabbing hold of the ball, but they've lost a lot of ground and they've given cheap possession over again.
Yeah, look, it was a really good scramble from the Giants as well. You know, it was Jake Connor who got up and tapped the ball back, but the Giants eventually scrambled to that ball first. Tane Milne, replacement for the injured Sam Halsall, who really looks in recent weeks to have trimmed up. Plenty of tackle bus against his name as well. Dangerous runner.
Wolford delivers. Taken on by King, who's tried set this game alight in those opening 2 minutes. Clune to Evans, and Evans with that arcing run, threatening to get past despairing hands, but they've just about held on. The pass is not the cleanest. Lollahea, therefore, is not given much of an opportunity to conjure something up. So on the last, it's Clune and Evans, and an offload, and it's all untidy. Was there a Leeds touch there?
First one's off the leg, the second one is a knock-on. Tackle 5, hand over. First one off the leg.
Goes Leeds' way.
Second one's a knock-on.
Yep, it's going to be a handover. So I think just Niall Levels lost count of the set there. Chose to run, realised late, tried to get the offload away.
Well, we can settle a little, can't we, after that, the start to the game we've had. Just a little bit of ordinariness becomes apparent, but Leeds again with a hustle and bustle. Here comes Handley, offering to anyone who was in the vicinity, but no takers, so has to take the tackle. And O'Connor again, and just trying to burst one in for Miller to take.
Now, referees Jack Smith saying it's been touched in flight, this, so the Leeds Rhinos will regain possession. Yes, just as it was Tui Lollahea got a right arm just snaked out as Lockie Miller was making another dangerous start. I love his starting positions. He hides himself so well, the Leeds Rhinos fullback, and then appears at pace. And I think that was a necessary intervention from Tui Lollahea. Leeds Rhinos scrum on the near side channel. They've opened the field up here for a shot play one, I think.
Well, they were on the ropes in the opening couple of minutes, but they have come out punching, haven't they, ever since then here, Leeds? Just stamping their mark on the game at the moment. Another set starts deep inside their opponent's half. Nice little offload again. Oh, a bit of a trouble going on as well. Forward pass is what the referee has given. They're going to go for a captain's challenge here. Are they?
Where's you on the scrum?
No, it's forward pass.
Yeah,
it's forward pass.
Yeah, of course. Well, they can't, can they?
Yeah,
they can't judge that.
That's the call the referee gave. I think he got a bit of a tip up from a touch judge.
Shot clock on.
Well, we've brought you so much rugby league this year, and there's so much more to come as well. The Rabbitohs against the Dragons starts us off tomorrow at 8:30, and Plenty of Super League action to come your way as well over the weekend. Wakefield, Bradford and Catalan against Warrington tomorrow. What's going on here? A little bit of a kerfuffle. Referees trying to sort things out. Wigan against Castleford Sunday afternoon as well. And here's one you do not want to miss. You don't want to miss it any week, but this week especially. The Bench podcast with a big interview with Andrew Abdo. It is a compelling listen, I tell you. Make your own mind about what you think of the NRL proposal of maybe coming over here and running the game. But have a listen to that Andrew Abdo interview with Jenna and John before you make your mind up. Meantime, Micah Seaver has picked up a loose ball and he's trying to hand off Lola Hare, who's climbing all over his back. Seaver's still going. 0 tackle, so 6 from here for Leeds. Real point of attack. Handley back to the middle. Lewis again, Miller again now. Over to that far side. It's going to be taken on by O'Donnell and away, all the way to that right-hand side for a super finish for Bird. Leeds threatening on one side with the irrepressible Sebo and then going right and finding their way.
Jack Bird with a try. Leeds Rhinos thirst, but there is a really, really classy pass in the build-up to this from James McDonald. This is the error. Just Huddersfield Giants overplaying a little bit. It had to be reached for by Douglas. Micah Sevo makes hay and chews up the meters. Tulalea climbs like a backpack. But then the ball spread out onto the right-hand side. But there's one particular pass in here that is special from a back rower. McDonald gets the pass here. Take a look at this one. Draws in Adam Swift and then releases Jack Bird on the outside. This angle will show it perfectly. Take a look at this ball from the young back rower. Just eyes up, waits and attracts Swift, and it's a brilliantly timed pass for Jack Bird. Handed his opportunity as Brad Arthur was talking to Jenna before the game and picked up a couple of issues defensively for Harry Newman. And Jack Bird taking his opportunity, as he continues to do there. Try number 3 for Leeds. They look very, very dangerous, Dave, in this area of the field.
Connor from the touchline. Given less than half the chance of getting it over. Hits the post and bounces away. So 6 points to 16. And if you rewind to the second minute, this has been quite a response from the Leeds Rhinos.
Look at his eyes. He just hung on to that ball long enough. In the corner of his vision, he could see Swift. And Micah Sevo comes across to celebrate with his teammates.
So Leeds start again from the back in the shape of Ryan Hall. Now, we saw Sam Halsall being helped off the field a short while ago. Jenna Brooks, you have news.
Yeah, Dave, I do. He looked in pain, didn't he? Very uncomfortable. I spoke to the doctor and I've been told it's a calf issue. It's just precautionary at this point. He is still being assessed. But yeah, just to confirm, it's a calf issue with Sam Halsall.
Well, fingers crossed. Thanks, Jenna. Fingers crossed that he's back before the game is out. As Bird in possession, just causing a few problems for those Huddersfield defenders, but they do their job.
They're okay, 4. That's okay.
Croft. Connor with the quick hands. They had to be because he was being closed down, and Handley's on the trots, but with 5 gone, he's fouled, and here comes the last again. Connor just changing the angle of attack. The kick should be, Evans catches it, but he would have felt that coming. The shoulder of Brodie Croft.
Got straight into ribs, Brodie Croft, really well timed. The Leeds Rhinos giving the ball some air in possession, aren't they? They're playing with some real confidence. That was timed so well from Brodie Croft, and now a knock-on forced as well. Leeds Rhinos just up in the grill of the Huddersfield Giants. And they've forced another error after such a bright start, such a hot opening from the Huddersfield Giants. And it's in the act of trying to play the ball. Jacob Douglas just errs. And now, once again, in the area of the field where Leeds have just looked so dangerous, so precise, so on point, they find themselves gifted time in possession.
Ryan Hall steps up. to that left channel.
Oh!
And has taken it very close. Has he got over? The referee's having a look. I think he's going to give this. The referee steps back, and Ryan Hall, one of the unlikeliest tries of his long career, his 250th in a Leeds shirt. It's a landmark moment at a stadium where he's had a few, and big smiles again in Huddersfield for Ryan Hall. 250, and his name is being shouted loud by those Rhinos fans.
I think for the first time in his career he's had to play second fiddle to his opposite wingman in terms of try-scoring proficiency. But direct off the scrum, steps inside Tuilala here. It was a soft tackle, and then he just drives, you know, all that hip strength through to the try line. And we talked about a soft try conceded by Leeds early on. Well, there'll be an inquest into that. There's nowhere near enough. You know, a player should not be able to carry 15, 20 metres almost in possession, roll through 3 tacklers and then score. You know, look, full credit to Ryan Hall. He wasn't stopping. We know this is how he plays, but there are enough defenders there to deal with that.
Well, 250 in a Leeds shirt, and that it's seemingly non-stop chase to be the league lead scorer in Super League history. Takes another little bit of a twist. He's now 268, I think. Josh Charlie on 260. The kick is good, and the lead is now 22 points to 6. They've reset and recalibrated, have the Rhinos, and they're on the rampage.
Yeah, and look, the warning signs are here now for the Huddersfield Giants. They're getting the shape and the structure the Leeds Rhinos are throwing at them that the Giants just can't handle. The Leeds Rhinos may have been slow out the blocks, but they're making up for lost time here. Tries 9, 11, 20, and now 24th minute.
Well, they conceded without touching the ball. Give them the ball, and they've shown what they can do. There's the current all-time Super League top try scorers list. All now on 268. Charlie 260. Tommy Menkins are back on 201. Those are the 3 players currently playing in Super League.
He's had a busy busy first stint from Palacia as well.
Here's O'Connor. Miller into the line, and Handley with a step away from Lollahair, but attracting 3 more defenders.
It's noticeable they are really stretching. They're really using the ball here.
Connor with a kick. He's looking for an angle to put Huddersfield under pressure, but Evolds managed to bring it out. Search back on the inside from Douglas. Right, let's get the latest then, shall we, on Sam Halsall. Jenna?
Yeah, Dave, he's just come out from being assessed. I can tell you he did not look happy. He's gone and joined the other injured players with the Huddersfield Giants. He's got his coat on. He won't be back tonight. As you said before, he has missed the last 5 games with a hamstring issue. This one is a calf issue.
Yeah, it's another soft tissue injury for Halsall. Very often they're connected, you know.
Oh, here's Douglas. Does well to get a kick away because he was trending towards the touchline. It's chased by Milne, but Leeds, having picked it up, suddenly offer a threat through Lockie Miller, who's gone past a couple.
Such a good mover. He's such a good mover, Lockie Miller. Smart by Palacia, knowing the threat that Miller is, just offloading the ball.
This is Bird, tracking back to this left-hand side. Another game played tonight, of course. York 6, Lee 6 is the latest in that one, if you missed it earlier. Toulouse 0, Hull Kingston Rovers 46.
Another good carry. The Leeds Rhinos are just, they're pinching metres far too easily from the Giants.
O'Connor. And now Miller with a chip and a chase, and it's looking good. It is looking fabulous. Lockie Miller heads up, play what you see. The chip and a chase pays dividends, and Leeds at the moment are simply unstoppable.
Just really smart play. A fullback who knows about fullback positioning. And you could see that Niall Evolds was caught up in something. Backed his skill, backed his pace, And don't forget, he's set them up in this position. Palacia's cute offload at the start of the play. You look at where Nye Levels is. I mean, fullbacks very often do this, particularly if the line is kind of bent or fractured. They'll sit shallow and almost present as a fake defender. Well, Lockie Miller's out. He's made a mug of him there. Smart play, reactive play, and then executing as well. The kick, the speed, and the execution. Top draw stuff.
This is not a wave of Leeds attacks. This is a tsunami of Leeds attacks at the moment.
Shot clock on.
8 minutes when they scored their first point of the night. 21 minutes later, they have 26 to their name, and it could be 28 in a moment.
Yeah, I'll hold this one, yeah.
The Huddersfield fans coming here tonight with renewed optimism and renewed delight at watching their side, having seen them get their first 2 wins in the last 2 games, but they are subdued at the moment, dumbstruck by what they're watching from Leeds. And Connor sticks it over, and it's now 28 points to 6.
Oh, the Rhinos absolutely put the foot on the gas, haven't they? Lockie Miller, so smart from the fullback. Just a lovely chip over the top, gets the bounce and celebrates. Just a slew of tries.
Now you go to where you can go, mate. Oh, stay, Tane.
They go again, and Huddersfield are being starved of possession.
Go. You're not there, Dave.
Because Leeds keep turning ball in hand into ball over goal line.
Square back. Go, find the 10 man.
O'Connor just pressing at every point up this Huddersfield defensive line, right, left and centre. There's a hum at the moment, a contented hum from the Leeds fans at the far end, a hum of wonderment from the Huddersfield fans beneath us, and Hankinson with 1 play to go. Handley, Connor, again just a steepling high one. Swift had to wait an age for that. He caught it safely, but having waited all that time, he suddenly finds defenders in his face.
You know, look, and task number 1 now is just to get through the set for the Huddersfield Giants. You know, they've turned possession over, made errors in possession. They really got to get to the end of a set here and punch the ball downfield.
By the way, a little earlier we were talking about that podcast, The Bench, and that fascinating interview with Andrew Abdo. Well, there's been a bit of a reaction, a lot of reaction around Super League in the last 24 hours, and after the match tonight we'll be catching up on some of that as well, with Jenna and Brian and John and Kev talking about the rumours that have been coming out of clubs today, so you want to stick around for that as well.
We're at a really significant, we're at an inflection point, I think, in our game, aren't we? 30 years on from the last time
an Aussie came and gave us a load of money. 30 years later, there's more Aussies coming with a load of money.
Yeah, make for really interesting listening after the game.
Here's Siva.
A game that's been really entertaining, actually. I know this has been relatively one-sided in terms of the scoreboard, and here they go again.
There might be more to come here because Bird is travelling well.
Just how easily they're going from edge to edge. And really, look at the Huddersfield Giants defence. They're in all sorts.
What position is Ryan Hall playing at the moment? Right down the middle. Having scored in the left channel earlier. And making it up as they go along. With great effect. Some slowness to this. Miller's taken a knock. Is he taking time here to try and entice the referee to have a look? Well, he does play it, and Connor sticks it up there again into the maelstrom in the middle, and it bounces anywhere. It's taken by Handley. Handley looks around to see if there's room to wriggle, and they get another set of 6 because it got a Huddersfield touch. So Leeds come again here with 6 plays to go and 5 metres to travel. Connor, Miller, trying to get out of the tackle, does eventually. And now it's O'Connor trying to hold off the challenge, and again shakes himself free. Another set of 6. Referee restarts the count again. And Leeds just keep pounding and hammering and pushing The Giants hanging on. O'Connor, Connor, and there's a little bit of a gap and a reach. And Cam Smith is over. No, it's a forward pass. It's a forward pass. Celebrations from the Huddersfield fans that they haven't conceded a try. And Huddersfield survived the scare.
Jake Connor again. I mean, he's remonstrating with the touch judge 50 yards away. And look, it's 100% forward. Don't be intimidated, Touchy. Jake will complain at anything.
Well, he made his England debut, didn't he? The Mile High Stadium in Denver, the American football stadium. That was an American football pass.
Good on you, Jake. You got to stick to your lie, haven't you? So a let-off for the Huddersfield Giants, because it has been an all-out assault for the last 20 minutes. You know, Zach Wolford just receiving some running repairs in backfield. He'll be good to go.
He's a tough customer, isn't he? Zach Wolford. Son of a former coach here, of course, Simon. When we were looking at that coaches list that Huddersfield have had in recent years. Who's the next? That's the question. There's Swift. And just carrying it in and hitting hard, but they are not making the impact out of yardage that Leeds have. But there's a little bit of a change in that perspective as Burgess carries well, and Huddersfield on the back of that, looking a little wider now. Opportunity, Evolds chiming in, and quickly to Swift, and Swift puts the foot down. There's plenty of Leeds defenders able to rope him in and bring him down. And I think this is the last play, isn't it now? And they could have a couple of play. They've still got another one to go. This is the last play. Wolford delivers. Evolds again. Missing out a couple. Swift on the bounce with a kick. But it rolls out of play. And that comes to naught in the end.
Well, they've got themselves in the right area of the field. They set themselves up, opened the field up to the left-hand side, and got all the key players in the right places and just showed what they're capable of. They've just been starved of possession. Most of it has been of their own making. We've clocked 25 missed tackles in the opening half so far for the Huddersfield Giants. That's something they are really going to have to address as a matter of urgency at half-time.
Leeds rather dominating possession as well. Two-thirds of possession has been with Leeds.
Held! Release! Go three. Be careful, Tristan!
You can see the hard numbers, 64% possession for Leeds so far, and a high completion rate with that as well. And we talk about completion rates, and there's one that's not going to go the end.
Yeah, just a miscommunication. Lockie Miller wanted Hankinson through the line and just didn't quite. He's checked his stride as Hankinson and ended up getting the ball passed into him. Lockie Miller wanted him through. The pass was aimed for Ash Hanley. There's been a real feature of the Leeds Rhinos playing in possession in the first half. Just how easily and how efficiently they can move from side to side, from edge to edge. I think they've really done a good job of stretching and disrupting that Huddersfield Giants defensive line. It'll be a long series of notes, you feel, in Liam Finn's black book. It'll be an interesting address at half-time. There's plenty to look at, plenty to fix up.
All right, Keenan. Go on.
Wolford. Well, that's nice by Gaga. That's more than nice by Gaga. He's almost found a complete way through. Well, they're on the front foot, and a tackle can restart as well here for Huddersfield. They need to score before half-time, and they're not going to be given a better opportunity, certainly positionally, than this. Wolford. Clune. Can't get away from those tigerish
No, it's good
Leeds
defence.
defenders.
Yeah, good defence from McDonald from the inside.
And Koza straightening things up.
Held! Release Jared!
Wolford again. Popping it back, and Clune and Burgess, the big body. The two hanging on, one up top, one below. Quick play the ball. Wolford now looking again, and Leeds defence just absolutely red hot at the moment. So solid. Back in position for that one. Here comes the last play. Lolohea with a bit of width. Evans, and here comes Douglas. Douglas! Really good finish. Straight to the arms, straight to the legs. And now it's no longer a stretch of the imagination that Huddersfield could have a say in this game, because a try at a very opportune moment.
I'll tell you what, that is a cracking finish from Jacob Douglas. He's made a circuitous route to the Huddersfield Giants, picks up his second. There'll be a question at what cost, because there is a player down receiving treatment in backfield. It's Tane Milne, but look, take a look at that finish. The in and away, the stop and the go on Lockie Miller. One of the most agile, able, capable defenders in the fullback position. That's a lovely little stutter step, takes the outside, had so little room to work with. And ducks out. Now there's a challenge off the ball. It's just a coming together of players, I think. There's a lot of Huddersfield Giants fans who are looking at the replay box and shouting off. But Ash Hanley, I think it's just a collision. That's nice. That's really nice from Douglas.
It was almost a case for Leeds claiming an obstruction there, wasn't there? Anyway, he's okay. Is Milne? He's back on his feet. Anyway, there's still a bit of discussion going on with the medical staff, and one of them was just patting the head, and I think Milne was saying, no, don't need that. Well, the hooter's gone anyway, so they can have a really good look at him at half-time. Still a kick to come here, of course.
Do you know, it's a measure of the quality of a winger and the confidence levels that they've got in their own ability to operate in small spaces. We see Joe Burgess do it almost on a weekly basis, just really comfortable operating in that 1 metre square and being able to make maximum effect. Just really good footwork, good stop and go. Rounded a very, very capable defender.
Lolohea just settling, not been kicking at all this season, so taking on these duties, and puts that wide. So Huddersfield into double figures. They started the game superbly, they finished the half on a high, but in the meantime Leeds have been magnificent, which is why we have that scoreline at half-time of Huddersfield 10, Leeds 28.
Dave, John, thank you very much. Well, Jay Connor will traipse off here at the ACU Stadium in Huddersfield, the ground he once graced for the Giants. But he's now in the colours of the Rhinos, and it has been a dominant first half. First score went to the home side. George King before 5 consecutive tries, the last of them this. The backspin from Miller after the little chip over the top has given Leeds a very healthy half-time lead. We will discuss with Kevin Brown and John Wilkin after this. Could York halt a run of 4 consecutive Super League defeats? Could Lee kickstart their Betfred Super League season? Well, they got off to a good start, scoring first through Gareth O'Brien on the 15-minute mark. That converted by Adam Cook. But York hit back close range. Xavier Va with a try, 6 across, and separated at half-time by this Adam Cook penalty. So the visitors with a 2-point half-time lead. We're at the ACU Stadium in Huddersfield. Well, where it's gone wrong for the Giants. Not quite from the start. They scored first through George King, but then Leeds blitzed them with 5 consecutive scores before Jacob Douglas gave the Giants some hope with a late touchdown in that first 40 minutes. Joined here pitchside by John Wilkin and Kevin Brown. Summarise, if you would, what we've seen in a half where we did give Huddersfield a chance pre-game.
Yeah, they had a good start and a good ending, but they were shocking defensively for 38 minutes in between that, Brian. I thought some of the stuff that Leeds were doing was pretty good, but a lot of the defence by Huddersfield, they were falling off tackles. I think 26 missed tackles in a half of rugby is way too much. Compounded with errors, you're not going to give yourself a chance.
Game started with an error, John, so take us through Huddersfield's start, beneficiaries from a Leeds error.
Yeah, I think the first 120 seconds of the game were about as good as it got for Huddersfield. They started with a kick-off from Lockie Miller. He knocks it dead. Quite smart from Adam Swift. Really patient and well judged to let that go out. That gave Huddersfield field position. I love this play. It's double up under the sticks on Palacia. Get big men to make decisions. Palacia makes a legs tackle on King. It's a smart play.
Yeah, and that was just pretty. It was pretty simple for them, wasn't it? When they got in them areas, they looked really dangerous. But the next time they got in there was with a minute to go to half-time, and they scored again. So there's a lot of positives for Liam Finn to speak about, but there's so much to fix up in that 38 minutes defensively.
Yeah, after that 120 seconds, the George King try, we're just going to see how dominant Leeds were and just how quick the game got and got away from Huddersfield physically. Look, Jared O'Connor running quick rucks, scattered
too
rucks.
easy to roll.
Yeah,
up
it
the
was
field.
because it was far too quick and the contact was so poor. And then these are the players we were talking about. Lockie Miller playing on the front foot, off quick rucks, incredibly dangerous. Look, by the time that Jake Connor gets the ball in his hands, Croft picks a line, it's game over.
Yeah, fifth tackle, defensive staggered off, there was a step. But Brodie Croft loves running the lines as a half-back. You know, you don't always see that. And then on the next try, it's more of the same, isn't it?
Yeah.
Quick play the ball.
Yeah, just strong ruck, strong carry, people left on the floor. Liam Finn will be just fuming at this. It's just way too easy. Jared O'Connor just falls over the line. And Leeds were just in flow. And Huddersfield were contributing to that feeling of ease for the Leeds Rhinos. All of this way too easy. Jake Connor playing in a dinner suit. McDonald with a beautiful offload. What a fend that is. Obviously NRL bound, gives it to Jack Bird for a try in the corner. But those three tries were a combination, Brian, of good attack from Leeds, playing on the front foot, playing with physicality, but also some shocking defence from Huddersfield.
All right, so you're 20 minutes into the game, halfway through the first half, you're 10 points down, 16-6, you're still in with a chance.
Yeah.
But you've got to show that you're in the game. What they showed defensively, the Huddersfield Giants, and conceded the Ryan Hall try, would suggest that they're not really at the races.
This is a shocker. Makes contact, 10.6 metres away from the line. There is zero chance Ryan Hall should score that try, Kev.
But you just don't see it. Defence is attitude and effort, and the attitude and the effort from them Huddersfield Giants players there, for whatever reason, this is a technical one. You know, Lockie Miller spotted night levels in the line. He's trying to plug a gap that, you know, his teammates weren't there, and he gets a fortunate bounce. That's good skill. Sometimes you can tip your hat. The one before, for me, that'll be what hurts Liam Finn the most. If you want to win and be a good team, you have to be able to defend it. You have to be able to defend a set-up play from Ryan Hall.
And they've just had no ability to deal with strength of carry from Leeds, have they? He's just got way too quick. Maybe a bit of a glimmer of hope.
Would the Douglas try give them any sort of hope in the dressing rooms at half-time, considering that they've gone to Wigan and beaten Wigan this year?
Well, I just don't think this is a try. I think, look, Milne falls to the outside shoulder of Ash Hanley. Now, if this isn't materially disadvantaging a defender, it's textbook obstruction. If he runs to his inside shoulder, it's fine. And look, Douglas scores in the corner. It's a tidy finish from him. He stands up, Lockie Miller.
If you put a video at the side of you know, this is what it looks like, obstruction, it'd be that. He's on his outside shoulder, he's disadvantaged him, and unfortunately he's gone off for an HIA now on the back of it.
But may give Huddersfield Giants hope on the scoreboard. They've got to fix up first and foremost what out of that list.
Well, they need to get their hands on the ball. Possession is heavily weighted in the Leeds Rhinos' favour, but as Kev said, missed tackles. You can't miss 26 tackles in a game sometimes, let alone in a half.
Yeah, there was 2 or 3 shockers, wasn't there, for points, so fix your defence up, give yourself half a chance, because they've shown when they've had 2 raids down here they can score points. That's not the issue, it's the defence.
There's 28 points against, that's the issue.
First score of the second half, all important. I'm getting the sense of that. Can the Huddersfield Giants, who roll into this one on the back of 2 consecutive Super League victories, remedy some of the ills of the first 40 minutes that sees them trail by 18 points against the Leeds Rhino side, with eyes on the top of the table?
Sasami goes back to Strange. In the first half it was Ethan for Simi. Now Sasangi says you can have it back. Favour returned. The Raiders back on level terms.
Much needed win for the Raiders, and would you believe a 5th consecutive defeat for the Melbourne Storm, 14 years since they experienced such a run. We'll continue our NRL coverage tomorrow with the under pressure Dragons, bottom of the table, taking on the Rabbitohs, 8:30 a.m. Sky Sports Plus. Then we're on to the Betfred Super League, a bumper crowd expected at Wakefield for the visit of Bradford. Tickets selling like hotcakes for that one, 5-3. You won't miss a minute of the action with us on Sky Sports Plus. You can also have the Catalan Dragons against Warrington. Sunday, you can start your day at 7:05 with the Eels themselves just off the bottom of the table against the Bulldogs. And we'll finish on Sunday with Castleford's trip to Wigan, a venue they have not won at since 2017. It's round 8 of the Betfred Super League. We're at Huddersfield, and the Giants roll into this one on the back of 2 consecutive victories. They're in a hole, though, at half-time, trailing the Leeds Rhinos 28 points to 10. What was said, particularly, Jenna, in that Huddersfield half-time dressing room?
Yeah, the interim head coach, Liam Finn, came out. He said that he wants his players to focus on the positives. He also said he doesn't want the negatives to ruin the confidence that they turned up here with tonight. He said it's more of a mindset than a physical battle here for this second half. As far as Brad Arthur, you'd think he would have been happy. In fact, he wasn't. Not happy with their goal line defence, and he wants them to be more resilient on that goal line. But let's get back upstairs for the second half.
Thank you, Jenna. Rhinos on the rampage. Huddersfield need to halt the charge if they can in this second half. Remember, Leeds go top of the tree on points difference for at least 24 hours with a win here. It's shaping up into a really fascinating table, isn't it? As we said, a quarter of the way through the season, very nearly a third of the way through the season. It goes very quickly, but we're underway, and at last we've got a kick-off that stays in the field of play, and Leeds get a chance here to try and build from deep. John Wells, what are you expecting in this second half?
Well, I'm listening to Jenna's feedback from Liam Finn's comments, who said it's a mental battle, not a physical battle. Well, I disagree with that, because I think physically the Huddersfield Giants have got to present something wholly different than they've done in that first 40 minutes.
Yeah, shook us all up, didn't they? Shook Super League up with that win against Wigan 3 weeks ago and followed it up last week. But a very different story so far here tonight. Hankinson taking it on, and he's going to be pulled down short of the halfway line. We've got injury news with Jenna.
Yeah, we saw Tane Milne, didn't we, come off for that head injury assessment at half-time. I can tell you it was a direct fail because he wasn't wearing a mouth guard.
Ah, rules is rules. Maybe that was what he was arguing about just before the break. So he's out, isn't he?
Well, I think, look, just on that, I think you take matters out of your own hands if you omit to wear a gum shield. You can only assume that's an oversight on the part of Tane Milne rather than a deliberate not wearing a gum shield. But if you fail, then they cannot assess you, so you are an automatic fail, just to clear up the regulation behind that.
And it is for the players' sake, isn't it? That's at the bottom of this. It's for the players' long-term health and safety. Anyway, Huddersfield, having got that early penalty, have a chance to build. And they need to score next. Rodgers with that surge. Here's Wolford to Mullahea, popping it back inside for a look down the middle by Powell. They're creeping closer, edging ever closer to where they want to be. Quick hands from Clune, and Patolo goes clattering in. Wolford. But Leeds resisting for the moment with one play to go. Back it comes to Clune. It's a charge down. The referee says play on because of that. And here comes, well, Croft at the moment didn't look like he was going to the distance, but Leeds with the support might just have the chance to do that. That's a brilliant pass from Miller to that left-hand side. Hankinson's involved. It goes all the way to Micah Sivo, and Sivo's dragged down. Well, Huddersfield's defence somehow recovered, but Leeds very nearly going fully 80 metres there, and there might be more to come. Connor, this is Croft trying to bat away Adam Clune, but they've got so many tackles. They're in such an advantageous position again here. It's Smith surging and going through. Again, some rather hapless defending. Paper thin on that occasion. And Smith, having got it 10 metres out, finds an easy way to score, and Leeds start the second half in such a positive fashion.
Oh, and just the swinging momentum there in the opening couple of minutes of the half. The Huddersfield Giants, who've looked good in the right positions of the field, get to the end of a set, kick charge down from McDonald. I think they've done this really well all night, the Leeds Rhinos. I think they've made measured and taken educated gambles with the ball, offloaded at the right time. You can see they're playing with confidence, moved from the right-hand side to the left. We all thought Sevo was going to crash over. He's pulled down, but it merely delayed the inevitable. And the inevitable was the Leeds Rhinos crossing for another try. Tristan Powell would want that one back again. He was outstepped and outthought by Cam Smith. It's a poor attempt. Sometimes you just, as a player, you just want to dig a hole and jump into it, and I think that's probably one of those moments for Tristan Powell.
Well, it's his second time over the goal line, isn't it, Cam Smith? The first one ruled out for a forward pass, but that one stands. It's the sixth Leeds try of the night, sixth different try scorer. Connor looking to add another 2 as well. 4 out of 5 so far for him tonight off the kicking tee, and he adds to that, and it is now 34 points to 10.
Yeah, and it's a good point you make about Jake Connor's, his kicking prowess. He's up near 80% success rate off the tee this season. So every time you concede, it's more likely than not that you concede in 6, not 4. It's a really strong part of his game. But again, just a real dim start for the Huddersfield Giants.
Well, as we were saying in the build-up, and as a lot of Huddersfield fans would have been thinking ahead of the game, so much confidence for a change coming here tonight. But my goodness, Leeds, one of their best performances of the season, albeit helped by some not great defending at times. Hulkingston Rovers in Vegas was another of those eye-catching moments, but they're threatening again. Hankinson.
Goal 3, you're okay.
Pick up on a carry that takes them ever closer to that halfway line.
Kevin John picked this up at half-time. Just look at the dominance in terms of the speed around the ruck. The Leeds Rhinos they're winning every single battle at the ruck. It's far too quick.
This is a 40-20 attempt. It's a 40-20 success. He knows every inch of this ground, as Jake Connor, having starred in a couple of stints for the Giants, and he's just picked that to perfection, and Leeds are on the arrowhead of attack again.
He's manufactured that as well, made a deliberate ploy to stay inside his own 40. Right, acid test now for the Giants.
Aletsky with a first drive. Can Leeds go back to back here? Pushing O'Connor. Couple of runs to this right-hand side, switching angles of attack, putting questions in Huddersfield defenders' minds, and Croft will slide over, but he's not quite there, is he? The referee's having a look, and he's going to give it. He's decided that Brodie Croft has got there. This will be checked in the background, but Leeds fans with cause to celebrate again.
Yeah, just shape. Open the field up, and they've got shape. They have Lockie Miller moving in the background. And Brodie Croft, we know he's a runner first. He always has been. This may take a couple of looks, but we'll start with the 40-20. You just look where Jake Connor positioned himself, planted himself inside his own 40, absolutely nailed the kick. That's what I was talking about game management before. You just don't see Jake Connor making errors like he used to do. And then grounded. Well, at the second attempt, that ball's down. There's an interpretation here.
He's lost the ball, hasn't he?
Well, there's an interpretation as whether the tackle's completed. So there's still movement, still direction. He does then promote the arm over the try line, and the ball is grounded at the second attempt. There will be a video referee interpretation here of whether at this point that is a promotion of the ball.
And has he lost?
And maybe lost into the arm of Tristan Powell. Yeah, this will be reviewed. There's enough here to call this into question.
The video referee, as is the case this season, of course, checks every try in the background and then will make a decision as to whether it is confirmed or whether it needs to go for an official review, and he's still checking here.
This may be a let-off for the Huddersfield Giants, but again, it's more lax front-up tackling. Brodie Croft got himself into space far too easily. Not grounded. Momentum, I reckon there's enough there. You
can't give that. You can't give that. Unless it's the left arm on the ball. Oh, the try is confirmed, we're told. The try, listen to that, the howls of derision, I think would be the best description of the Huddersfield fans' response. They can't believe it. They've seen it on the big screen. But Brodie Croft is a scorer, second time tonight. How many is that this season? 8 times for Brodie Croft. He scored in 6 of the 8 Super League games. He's on fire.
He's a very, very good rugby player, is Brodie Croft. In my opinion, he's a lucky rugby player on that occasion. Look, try scored, Jake Connor, to improve that kicking percentage.
There we go, the kick is good, 6 out of 7, 40 points to 10. Now, would you have given that back at home? Would you have given this back at home? Let's ask the audience. Let's ask the audience whether they would have given this back at home. Nah, not a chance. Not a chance.
It looked for a moment he'd lost control of that into the head of Tristan Powell. Anyway, look, we play on. Just another point on Jake Connor. I said at the start, he's always been a mercurial talent, hasn't he? And we've seen in the last kind of few sequences of play, a 40-20, a really good ball in space to Brodie Croft to set up that try. His error count, his wrong decision ratio in a game has dropped through the floor. I think he is becoming a seriously high-quality player. I know you say that he's the reigning man of steel, but I think he's improved and polished areas of his game.
Well, 2 men of steel who are having 2 very good seasons, aren't they, in the Haas for Leeds. This is Ryan Hall. He's got his try tonight, and Miller dances and makes a space for himself, and he's going searching for friends to try and finish this off. It's very close to the floor, but Hankinson did well to keep it up. One last play to go. Are they going to go back to back to back here, Leeds? Could this be 3 on the bounce? Questions asked with a kick, and it's a guess who got there first. Brodie Croft's going to claim a hat-trick. He had a couple of mates who could easily have got there as well, but Brodie Croft has a hat-trick, and 2 of them have come in the space of 2 minutes, and Leeds are bouncing.
Right, just look, again, Johnny on the spot, Brodie Croft. The kick was called for by Jake Connor. It was another weaving run by Lockie Miller that set up the position for this. And then Jake Connor, pre-play, was screaming for his players to get into position. They're dropping that kick in the area of the field that's very, very hard to defend. This is the break from Miller. Just turns Burgess inside out, fends off 2 more, spins out of the tackle of Tuilola here. They get into position. Hankinson takes the tackle, and then Jake Connor, bottom of your screen, he's screaming there. He wants players in position. Drops the kick. It's tapped back by Gagai, and then who is the first man on the spot? Brodie Croft, try number 3. And all of a sudden, this is looking like a long, long evening for the home side.
Well, super statter Ian Proctor tells us that's his first ever hat-trick, Brodie Croft. We were saying at half-time he's still got 7 years left on his Salford contract to run, hasn't he? But he's living a different life these days, is Brodie. And this will be yet another 2. Well, we won't call it as over. Did that a couple of weeks ago, John. Didn't go down well.
No.
But at the moment, Leeds absolutely in the driving seat and scoring very nearly a point a minute.
Right, it's just been one-way traffic. It's been an onslaught. Leeds Rhinos have come out at the start of the second half and absolutely put Huddersfield Giants to the sword.
Well, surely it's a case now of how many, from Leeds' point of view. Going top of the table, a win would be enough to do that. But on points difference, and they are making that points difference a telling column in the league table. Harry Newman, of course, we saw him in his whole guise last night. He's back in Leeds colours tonight.
With his new nose. That's it. The war wounds from last night.
Yeah. There's some bruising there, isn't
I feel for you, Harry.
Leeds playing with such verve and vigour at the moment. Looking lively.
Let's tackle away now.
One play to go.
Nothing late, Matthew.
He's not going to go for a 40-20 this time. He's just going to boot it right down the middle and make Huddersfield work for their yards from as far back as possible. And Leeds defence up there quickly. And don't forget, by the way, we mentioned this in the first half, but a lot of discussion going on at the moment about the future of Rugby League. And after all that Andrew Abdo stuff that we had last night, there has been some reaction from Super League clubs today, and Jenna's been on the case, and we'll be hearing plenty about that, about what's been mentioned this last 24 hours after the game tonight. And that Andrew Abdo interview available now on YouTube, but he's also on the Bench podcast, which is also up there. I had to listen to it today. It is an absolutely compelling listen. It really is.
And it's been a very, very busy week in the world of Rugby League, hasn't it? I would say that's right at the top of the headline list.
Here's a catch by Miller, and again looking to set things up.
Oh, he moves so well.
The amazing thing here tonight is that Mike Osivo hasn't scored so far, given his try-scoring ratio so far this season. This fella has. Ryan Hall. Quick play the ball, gets things moving again. Croft with a skip and a jump, but runs into the unwelcoming arms of Tom Burgess, amongst others. Search right, they're looking left. There's a bit of a gap appearing on that left-hand side. Quickly played again by Levi. It's called as forward by the Huddersfield fans. It's not given. And another chip and a chase, and Croft after that, but diving save gives Huddersfield possession back again here from Clune.
Well tidied up from Clune, really was. And look at the stats, the match stats. I mean, the weight of possession, we've seen that in real time, haven't we? And the meters, the Leeds Rhinos now over 1,000. That tells you in number terms what we're seeing, what we're seeing in front of us. The Huddersfield Giants have just got to get themselves a toehold back in this game. It is an uphill battle, and it starts with their defence, which I think has been far too passive for far too many minutes of this game.
Well, they've got one play left here, but they're inside their own half, so Lola Hare has to conjure something up if he can. He steps and kicks. Miller will let it bounce, anticipating the kindliness of that bounce. And Ryan Hall just occupying the thoughts of 4 or 5 defenders who eventually managed to close him down. And Leeds start from here again and go in search of more from here again. 8th in 2024. 4th in 2025, but could they go better this year, and could it be a grand final year? Not been champions since 2017 now, Leeds, which is 9 long years for a club of that size.
That is a long time between drinks for a club of that stature, you're right.
Levi, another of those looking to torment his former side, of course. One play to go, and it's just a stick it up there, and let's see what happens from Jake Connor. And he bounces very, very kindly into the hands of Callum Watkins, who's off the bench but hasn't yet been given the try.
Into the man. Ash Hanley has a contest it. I think it's just touched his hand.
He says no try on the field, so let's hear for the first time tonight from our video referee James Bell.
Okay, it's tackle 5, live decision of no try, so we'll initially check the onside, offside. Pausing on the boot, we can see that the chasers are onside. We'll monitor Levi's movement. Okay, so we can see that Levi remains outside 10 metres. Watching the run-up, clearing up to the contest, now focusing on the contest. It is a fair contest. Jingu gets a touch to this ball here at this stage. Just looking at all available angles. So does Hanley touch this ball? Okay, so after exhausting all available angles, there's insufficient evidence to prove that Hanley does not get a touch of this ball at this stage. I'm just going to look at another camera angle, please, with further clarity. Okay, I've viewed all available angles. There's insufficient evidence to prove that Hanley does not get a touch to the ball. I've made my decision.
Well, hardly a hand from Hanley, but it's going to be no try because there's nothing definitive there. We could have probably spent half an hour looking at that and coming to the same conclusion. So it was a swift decision, and it's going to be no try here. So it's another no. I mean, if you put the no tries the other way around, my goodness.
Last tackle, fixed hand over.
Was it 2-3 no tries that Leeds have had now tonight? But dominant enough without them.
Yes, it's where the knock-on occurs. Stay two markers. On your foot, wait for the foot, go.
So Huddersfield from the back, from behind, 46 points to 10 down. They've had some tough moments in this season so far, so they can dig on that experience, and maybe they've just got a little bit of toughness about them because of that. Can they get a little bit of something from what remains in this game?
Yeah, there's a stiffness though about this Leeds Rhinos defence. You look at how well they've contained them. Just 2 plays left in the set, less than 20 metres, progress downfield. And that's the difference we've seen. When you look at that set we've just witnessed there, the contact was solid. The first up contact was really solid. No metres post contact, no players falling off tackles. You know, in stark contrast to what we're seeing even as early as the first play.
Look at this. First thought is attack. Never mind return, it's attack from right back there. Huddersfield did well to hang on to that growing concern. Miller again, such a busy character on a night like this. He's loving it. Watkins. And held just shouted before he flicked away.
Just called help, mate. Fenton.
Fenton Rogers just batted the ball away. Callum Watkins gave him a look. Look, he said, Fenton, we just don't need that. Let's get on with the game.
Out now, Fenton!
Smith. This is Hankinson.
Yeah, a lot of eyebrows raised when Chris Hankinson was announced in the back row. You know, second game there now, but what he does offer is a fair bit of mobility out there on the edges. It's been causing the Giants' right edge some issues.
Connor sticks it high. That's well taken by Evelds. Got up amidst that mass of bodies and claimed it as his own, but again it's a tough start.
Yeah,
Swift trying to carry it out.
Isn't it just? And just got folded in two as well by 3 Leeds Rhinos defenders. These are never great carries.
Well, if you are considering Leeds as potential grand finalists this year, then their performance so far would have added to that. Oh, and Sivo just got a hand on it.
I think he needed to as well. I think, look, he's disappointed he couldn't take possession, but I think he needed. It was I think some good vision from Niall Evelds, who was looking to try and connect with his wingman. And I think if Mike Asivo doesn't get a hand to that, there is a chance there for Douglas on the outside.
Well, he'll be fairly content with what he's watched so far tonight, you would imagine. There was Jenna telling us at half-time that he was concerned about goal line defence. There's talk of him being the next England coach as well, of course. He's been interviewed this last week.
Well, the best way to avoid Brad Arthur talking about goal line defence is not be defending on your goal line, and I think they've done a very good job of that, haven't they?
Paul Rowley's gone public as well to say he's been interviewed this week, so we're nearing that decision with a World Cup at the end, with everything that's going on at the moment.
Yeah.
We forget there's a World Cup at the end of the year. Good heavens. Here's Russell out of dummy half again, and King does well to spring that ball backwards and keep it alive, and Patolo down this left channel. It's pushing and pushing. One play to go. Russell steps in. Clune kicks away. Miller eyes on the ball. The leap is good. There's bodies falling around behind him, and Brodie Croft's gone down hurt there as well. Picks himself up gingerly. A little bit of attention. He's okay. He's okay. One other game tonight, of course, York against Lee. Lee were leading 8-6 at half-time. What's the latest? Well, there you go. Lee 12, York 6, and Ryan Hall's got one here to take him to 268 Super League tries. Well, Josh Charnley says, whatever you do, I can do, because he's scored to take him to 261 Super League tries. And there's a 40-20 attempt, which is ambitious, and in fact, in the end, is it going to hold up? No, it's not. Tap back on the 20. There you go. Ryan Hall 268, Josh Charnley 261.
Just incredible. The numbers that these players are putting together and that's a race that we're going to enjoy for a couple more years yet, we feel.
It doesn't seem that long ago that he was still behind Danny Maguire, does it? When people were asking whether and when that would happen, and now he's just left him in the slipstream. They both left him in the slipstream. Huddersfield looking for something here. Ellis does really well, gets that ball away to Gagai, and Gagai now has options left and right, or he might just choose a path himself. What a try that is! Jacob Gagai, one of the eye-catching moments of the night. Yes, get out of your seats and celebrate that one. Jacob Gagai, who's on quite a run now. I think that's 5 in 4 games he's scored, and that was a finish.
That's it. Look, it just shows he has got superb acceleration, great footwork, brilliant balance, and you saw all of those attributes. He's good shape from Huddersfield Giants. There's a really nice pass here from Evalds to keep the play going. Then through one tackle, takes Hankinson on the outside, and then dodges past 2 potential defenders, outpaces Hanley to the line. That's a terrific individual try. Cute stuff from Evalds to put Gagai into the backfield. It's that balance under contact as well, change of direction, acceleration, and gives the Huddersfield Giants a lifeline. It's a tenuous lifeline, but it is a small change in momentum, and it falls in the favour of the Huddersfield Giants.
Lee Russell taking over the kicking duties. He came off the bench against York a couple of weeks ago and was pretty good with the boot as well. So Lollahare, who's kicked one and missed one, is replaced by Russell, who's now landed his 12th of the season. It is a stretch to say that that is a potential game changer, but at least it's a bit of a mood changer for the director of change.
Very good.
Ralph Rimmer.
Very good, Dave. You didn't even know that picture was coming,
know that
did you?
picture
That
was
was excellent. That was excellent. Well done. I've got a director swearing in my ear now, saying he absolutely tipped you off. No, look, it's what it's done. It's stemmed the flow, hasn't it? It's stemmed the flow a little bit, and it has just reminded Leeds that, you know, even when you think you've got a game in the bag and you're very much enjoying yourselves out on a rugby league field, you know, these teams in Super League can still inflict pain.
Well, in the list of last things you need after scoring a try, I think that tops it, doesn't it?
And just, you know, one of the more unexpected things you would see as well, Adam Swift is not a player who is prone to mistakes like this, under no pressure. And if Tristan Powell's left his spade from the first half, I think Adam Swift would want to borrow it. You feel for Adam. High quality player, highly skilled. And now the Huddersfield Giants, well, they'll try and get the ball back here through Lollahare.
That's the other. Well, dropping the ball and then putting the kick out of touch on the full. 2 classic errors that have coaches pulling their hair out.
Yeah, and they've just again invited loads of pressure right back on themselves again. It's an important 60 seconds for the Huddersfield Giants.
Well, a chance here for Leeds to add to the pain of the local team. Danny Levy waits at acting half. Smith with a push. Here's Levy again. Again, the angles are being run. The ball is a little scruffy. Brodie Croft picks it up. There's so much space. Hankinson feeds it on Hanley, and here he is. Here he is. Mike Osivo. You cannot keep him out of the limelight. That now, his 13th Super League try of the season, his 15th in 8 games in all competitions. What an impact he's making.
Super impressive the way that the Leeds Rhinos, from a play that looked like it was going to break down in the first couple of passes, to then really quickly recover their composure. This is the dropout that put the Giants under pressure. Swift with the knock-on before that, but the play threatens to break down at this point, and then just a really smart piece of play from Callum Watkins, and then crisp on-point passing to Mike Osivo, who ends the try drought to rock up with his baker's dozen, and he is well on course to put Denny Solomona's tries in the Super League season record under serious pressure here.
13 tries this season. Brodie Croft is up there as well, because he's filled his boots tonight as well. Talking about boots, here's a boot that has been pretty accurate so far. What is it? 7 out of 8 before this attempt, and he just swings it wide. 7 out of 9. 50 points reached, half century. And Jenna, what news on the touchline?
Yeah, I can tell you Leeds Rhinos fullback Lockie Miller is off the pitch. I just went up and spoke to him. He's absolutely fine. He's just having a bit of a break. I believe not the same for James McDonald, though. He has come off and he's gone straight down the tunnel. It's being assessed. I'll get an update for you soon.
Thanks, Jenna.
Well, Lockie Miller, I mean, he's clocked up 150 metres in this game. And again, once again, has been hugely influential from 17 carries. Just such a busy player. So if you have the luxury of being able to rest one of your star players, then you know I think when you hit the 50 mark in a Super League game, that might be time to do it.
Well, Leeds are enjoying themselves here tonight. As we said, they could be they will be top of the table after tonight, and then a real opportunity in their next 5 games, because 4 of them are at home: Catalan, Wakefield, Huddersfield and St Helens. They have to go to Wigan in the middle of that, so there's a chance for them to test their pedigree. And here comes Mike Osivo again, this time hold down.
They've really made hay down that left-hand side. They put heaps of pressure on Tuilola here. He's missed a boatload of tackles, 9 or 10, I think the most of any Huddersfield player. So there's a lot of targeted stuff from the Rhinos as well here.
6 again, you might have heard in the background there, to tell you that Leeds can just simply build and build here. That's an offload from Holroyd. Here's Bird. Having a wander, having a look.
You watch him set up to go down that left edge again. Oh, Levi's made a mug out of me, but another strong carry this time.
Maletsky, 10 out, Levi again, springing into life. Brodie Croft with a step, it opens up, and that's the 4th. 4 tries to the name of Brodie Croft. It's a career best by a distance, and Leeds in absolute scintillating form.
Yeah, they look very, very polished in attack. The defence has not been up to snuff from the Huddersfield Giants this evening, but the Leeds Rhinos can only play what's in front of them. And as you said, they will go top of the Super League table on points difference. Well, I'll tell you what, they're not doing the points difference any harm at all, are they, this evening? This is a free-scoring Leeds Rhinos team. Brodie Croft, with try number 4, goes into double figures for the season. It's just an overchase. It's a desperate overchase from the Huddersfield Giants. Brodie Croft cuts back against that sliding defence and just dives into the right-hand side of the uprights, and this is looking ugly now for the Huddersfield Giants. A 40-point buffer about to be established when Jake Connor converts that Brodie Croft try, which he does.
10th try of the night. 56 points to 16. And Ryan Hall seemed to be in there with a message: let's keep our focus, let's keep this going, let's show no mercy. Leroy Cutcher, great servant of Huddersfield, and we're talking about 30 years of Super League. He's very much up there. Jermaine McGilvray, leading scorer in the Super League era. Look, some of the names there. Cutcher, obviously. Aaron Murphy. Yeah. Joe Wardle, of course, is a great name of localness. And Sean Lunt. Great to see Sean Lunt, the Cumbrian. He's from Cockermouth, I think, isn't he, Sean?
Played for Leeds as well in his in an illustrious career. Yeah, they could do with some of that talent on the field at this moment in time, couldn't they?
Leeds again just rampaging their way back towards the halfway line. Levi picks up and he fancies a go, tries to squeeze between the two of them, but they ain't letting go. 1 to go. So Croft sticking it up there again. There's some distance to be travelled. Nobody seems to want it. Sivo's in there, but dropped on.
Well, it's a ball that should definitely have been gone for. Yeah. I think Douglas has just got to back himself there. He was in exactly the right position. Just got to back himself, and Micah Sivo very nearly took advantage again. And yeah, he's frustrated with himself, is Jacob. You know, he's a big learning moments for, you know, young winger getting a chance, and he will improve for that. But he puts his team under pressure here.
Ash Handley's come off, and again we're told not necessarily an injury, but a rest there. And Jared O'Connor's off as well, and Lockie Miller's off as well. Leeds have got the luxury of swinging through their squad and still scoring tries. And Hankinson threatening to be the latest. Micah Seaver on the outside, I think, would have been appealing for that. 6 again, and a bit of cramp.
That's very community spirit of Tuilolea helping an opposition player out with cramp.
2 ex-Salford players, aren't they? This is Croft. See us going nowhere. Levi steps up again. Swung away. O'Connor. Oh, it's a mishap because it got a Huddersfield hand.
Again, they're opening the field up to play in and around Tuilola here. I think they've targeted the Huddersfield 5/8 all evening, and with some degree of success. It must be hard. It's not been his best night at the office, Tui.
Everybody reassembles here, getting ready to go again. Leeds potentially on the cusp of another try, looking for the 60-point mark here if they can.
Stay tight, we're all right, Jake.
Jake Connor with a feed. Ryan Hall's in there as a pivot to help his fellow winger Michael Sivo, who's threatening to carry 3 of them on his back over the line, but had to succumb in the end. Levi swings it, Leeds swinging it all the way to the middle of the park, where they find Aletsky, who fancies a go. Levi's got the time to have a look around, right and left. Croft ran right, then went left, and back down the middle, it's battered again. 3 tackles to go. Leeds full of energy. Levi. Connor to Croft, who pops one over the top, and even for the big fella on the outside, that was too high. Little rueful grin on the inside.
Yeah, rifled ball, wasn't it, from Brodie Croft? Jesus, this guy, no backswing on that, was there? Just popped it over, just too much for big Micah Sivo to take possession. These will be the bits that Brad Arthur will be fuming about. This is a team that scored 56 points, comfortably in charge of the game, and they'll be the bits that'll pop up in the video review. You mark my words.
Other game tonight, York against Lee, and Lee now extended the lead, 18 points to 6, as you can see. Earlier tonight, in case you missed it, Toulouse nil, Hulkingston Rovers 46. That game, by the way, is live now on Sky Sports Plus. Every game, of course, on Sky Sports, one platform or the other. So there's that to watch. One play to go. Huddersfield barely breached the halfway mark. It started with such a flourish. It's ending as a damp squib from their point of view. Hankinson has got into the full-back's position, having started in the second row. A man for all seasons. Sivo searching down the middle. O'Connor might be back on the field looking down there.
Yes, they've got O'Connor and Levi on, so O'Connor will sit in that kind of 13 role. We know just how industrious he is. Another good darting run from Levi as well. Just as they have all evening, and as they are again, just taking metres from the Giants with ease. Look, that'll be a real point to work on for Liam Finn and his men during the week.
Jake Connor puts it up there again. Where's this going to land? Well, safely into hands from Huddersfield's point of view, so they'll be happy to have it back again. But again, look where they are, and it's just a punishment. They've hardly been out of their own half.
No, so, you know, and as well as all the flair and the flourishes of skill that we've seen from the Leeds Rhinos, the fundamentals have been there, haven't they? You know, very low, 6 errors in the game, completions up near 90%. You know, they're getting the basics right. I think they're a very good team to watch. If you're a Leeds Rhino supporter, I think you are full of optimism from what you've seen so far this season.
Evalds trying to chime in. He's not had many opportunities tonight, has he? Understandably, given the way the game has gone. Oh, and it's a stretch. Ball is lost. Oh, play on. Well, not now. You can't drop it twice and get away with it.
Yeah, and conversely, been a polished Leeds Rhinos performance in the main. And I would say, apart from a couple of flashes from the Giants, it has been loose. Loose in attack, loose in defence, and plenty for them to work on. You know, that terrific victory and performance against the Wigan Warriors now, for a lot of fans, seems a long, long way away, long time ago.
It's tough being a Giants fan, isn't it? Kind of hold up here.
There's a head injury assessment in amongst all that. And Mathieu Kozra, I think, heading down the tunnel.
Is confirmed. Leeds with a bounce. Brody Croft.
Wait.
Levi. Having a look.
Move now! Just wait for the goal call. Stay!
Palacio to his feet. Levi. O'Connor, and an angled attempt to rip that Huddersfield defence again. They're shaping up once more. This is Croft. Bird trying to duck between a couple of defenders. They manfully hang on. Palacio will take the role of dummy half. Croft again. It's now with O'Connor. And Connor with a kick. It deflects. And quite clear offside from Cooper Jenkins.
You know, I think everybody realised at the same time, didn't they? So Connor into Tristan Powell, and then Cooper Jenkins was actually in front of Connor, so gave himself up as well, didn't he?
Yeah, nothing to be gained by trying to fool the referee. Lollahea sticks it out of play. Who remembers Tui Lollahea as a Leeds player? That seems like an age ago now, doesn't it? No, never really worked for him at Headingley, did it? And then he went to Salford, and suddenly we saw what kind of a player he is. A very good one. Coming along the line. Good guy can't go anywhere without his legs, which Bird has got a hold of. There's Swift. Reminder again, with 2 minutes of this match, if you're thinking of switching off, don't, because we are getting reaction to that NRL potential bid for Super League. We'll be getting reaction after the game. We'll be hearing what Jen has been finding out today from various clubs, how they've reacted. In the meantime, here comes Clune, and Gagai was on the outside. Clune gets it back inside, and Ollie Russell will glide over. Barely a glimmer of a smile. The occasion doesn't really deserve that, but still satisfying from a personal point of view from Ollie Russell to get over the whitewash.
Yeah, some nice play here from Adam Clune, taking the ball to the line. John and the boys said pre-game he was somebody who could really do some damage. Drops through the line. He had Gagai on his shoulder. Not tackled, not touched whilst on the floor, so was able to provide that pass to Ollie Russell. Just dips and skips through the tackle. And Ollie Russell off the bench and over the try line. But it is nothing more than a consolation.
Well, they scored a try in the first minute. They've scored a try in the last minute. They've had uplift to start and end the game, but a bit of a nightmare in between from Huddersfield's point of view. As Russell just gets himself ready to put what should be a fairly straightforward kick between the sticks. Might not mean much in terms of the scoreline, but it still has his full attention, and left-footed he strikes it over. 22 points to 56. The time is stopped, but there's only 40 seconds left to play. Yeah,
they've been architects of their own downfall, the Huddersfield Giants, for much of this game this evening. You know, the Leeds Rhinos have taken full advantage, and they've been ruthless. But, you know, just to show, if you're looking for things to build on from a Giants perspective, you get yourself into position, as we said, for all the occasions when they cross the try line tonight. Get themselves in the right area of the field. They are dangerous and they are effective.
Stay loud, stay on side for us.
And it's the Leeds Rhinos who will take the spoils. They will go top of the Super League table. 56 points scored. Star players pulled off unrested with 10-15 minutes to go.
Well, just about dealt with that kickoff, and Huddersfield have maybe 3 or 4 plays here before the hooter sounds. King, seems like a long time since he was plunging over the line and celebrating, and it's been a night of headaches for the coach Liam Finn, but they might be about to strike again. Burgess galloping, got a bit of flow. Clune puts it over, looking for Swift to chase this. Swift takes it in, puts the kick on again. Gagai's after it, but there's... Oh, and Gagai very nearly got there, but wait, Connor got there first. Oh, well, the hooter sounds in the background, and the referee's going to ask a question. He doesn't think... I don't think it's a try either.
I thought this was close, though. I thought it's a lot closer than it should have been.
See it from the video ref here.
Okay, it's tackle three, live decision of no try. So pausing on the boot for the first kick. Okay, we can see that the chaser is offside. It's Patolo. So Patolo is offside. Running it through. Gagai and Swift are onside. So Patolo is offside, still on. And now Swift takes possession. Patolo is now onside. Pausing on the boot for the second kick. Patolo and Gagai are both onside. So rolling it now through. Okay, Swift remains outside 10 metres. So now just focusing on potential grounding. Okay, looking at all available angles. Who gets a touch of this ball first? Okay, I'm viewing all available angles here. Okay. Ball's rolling on the ground. Okay.
It was Jane Connors on.
Looking to determine who grounds this ball. So frame by frame. Keep rolling it through. I need sufficient evidence to prove that Huddersfield ground the ball simultaneously. Okay, I've viewed all available angles. There's insufficient evidence to prove simultaneous grounding. I've made my decision.
Well, there you go. There you go. It is not going to be a flourishing finish from Huddersfield's point of view. It will be no try. just confirmation inside the stadium here. Final word will be from the video referee, and it is no try. And Huddersfield defeated and deflated despite scoring first and last. But in amongst the 10 tries that Leeds have scored, it's been the Brodie rodeo. 4 tries for him tonight, a personal best. And Leeds fans will be very, very satisfied with what they have seen tonight. Outstanding from Leeds, less so from Huddersfield. The Giants finish with 22, but Leeds with 56.
John Dave, thank you very much. Brad Arthur taking charge of the Leeds Rhinos for the 50th time, and he has taken them to the top of the Betfred Super League table for tonight, at least. Leeds Rhinos heading St Helens, Warrington and Wigan. The Huddersfield Giants, they missed out on a chance to move closer to the top 6, but they were never really in the race. First and foremost, gentlemen, compliments to the Leeds Rhinos. When they're on, they are red hot. John Wilkin, Kevin Brown.
Yeah, when they sense that opportunity to put a team to bed, they absolutely take it, don't they? They came out in the second half. I thought Huddersfield would be better defensively. Well, they weren't. They were exactly the same, and the Rhinos just put them to bed. I thought Brodie Croft was all over the place with energy, and he just wanted it more, and the Leeds Rhinos just wanted it more than the Giants.
Yeah, I think one thing you can say about Leeds Rhinos and Brodie Croft in particular, they were difficult to handle here tonight. They forced a lot of misses from Huddersfield. I'll say this, it's a shocking defensive performance from Huddersfield Giants. Some woeful individual defence, which we'll have a look at in time.
We both said they had points in them.
Yeah,
well, they did. They turned in 22 points. Brad Arthur will probably reference that post-match. Disappointment with 22.
Yeah.
But the defensive effort by some of Liam Finn's players would...
Yeah, I mean, you can get a lot of confidence with your players like Adam Clune and Evelds coming back. But I think what you forget is maybe the Wigan win and the York win was built on having some steel in your defence also, and giving players like Evelds and Clune an opportunity to attack. Well, the physicality of look, Tuilola here on the left of the shot there, he had a shocker in defence tonight, missed nearly 10 tackles and was around everything that was rank about Huddersfield's performance defensively. It's not a great performance from Huddersfield, a real step backwards from where they've been, but again we saw glimpses of how destructive the spine of Leeds Rhinos can be when the game's quick.
So after consecutive wins for the Huddersfield Giants, you're right, giant step backwards. But for Brad Arthur and the Leeds Rhinos, you guys were very impressed with what they did in Las Vegas. We know now they've got to the top of the table. Kevin, are we looking at title contenders?
I think if they probably need to just tighten up defensively as well. Conceding 22 points when you are so dominant will be a worry for Brad Arthur. But gosh, when they throw the ball around, there's probably no team better on the eye than this Leeds Rhinos attack at the moment. There's threat all over the field, and they look phenomenal when they're attacking.
Yeah, instinctively, high in rugby IQ in the spine, and just so good at finding space.
OK, well, let's hear from one of those players in that spine for the Leeds Rhinos. Player of the match will be no surprise, Brodie Croft.
Yeah, the 4-try hero, Brodie Croft. You had a huge influence on that game tonight. I mean, Leeds Rhinos simply unstoppable.
Yeah, I thought for the most part we were very physical and played the way that we wanted to play, but yeah, a bit frustrating the last 10 minutes. We leaked a few points there that, yeah, I'm not looking forward to the chat in the sheds after this from BA, but overall, yeah, obviously happy to get the 2 points and yeah, we'll move on to next week.
Mention a little bit maybe lack of concentration in defence there, but just so polished in attack tonight.
Yeah, I was fortunate just to get on the end of some tries there, but a lot of hard work done by the middles there, and when Jake and Lockie are playing on the front foot like that, it just frees up space for me, and then, yeah, some nights I get lucky, so yeah, that was pretty cool.
You got lucky, 4 tries, a career best, 10 for the season in Super League. You're right on Mike Acevo's heels, aren't you?
Yeah, I know, everyone's talking about Buller, but yeah, I'm chasing him hot on his heels, just quietly under the radar.
So you mentioned before BA, Brad Arthur, maybe not being so happy with some of the tries that got leaked at the end there. What will his assessment be of that 80 minutes, do you think?
Yeah, exactly that. Defensively, like, that's not our standards there, and that's not what we accept. So, yeah, obviously we'll take the win, but yeah, like I said, not looking forward to the chat after this.
Well, I'll let you go and get on with that chat. Brodie Croft, congrats, Betfred Player of the Match.
Just a quick little shout out to my wife, beautiful wife. We're due any day now, so yeah, I love you, babe.
Well, you better hurry up and get home just in case.
Yeah, I know.
Do you know what you're having?
A girl.
Oh, congratulations, Brodie, and his beautiful wife.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. We'll let you head off. We'll bring in the interim man in charge of the Huddersfield Giants. Liam Finn, I suppose a pretty long 80 minutes for you.
Yeah, very long one, yeah. Obviously, started well with a try, but then after that it were downhill from there. I thought last few weeks we hadn't made a load of errors and we kicked the ball really well, and today to start the game after the try we made a few errors back to back, turned the ball over poorly, and then after that I think Leeds showed us what the top end of this competition's all about, and they've been a pretty consistent, relentless team in what they do for a couple of years now, and they showed the level that they're at and the level that we're aspiring to get to.
You just simply, I suppose, couldn't really get your hands on the ball, but would you maybe be more disappointed with how they were in defence tonight?
Yeah, certainly in that first period when we first gave the ball away, we should have been able to defend better and defend through the middle a bit better. The first two tries were really soft on our part and weak through the middle. To concede those ones obviously stung at the time, and then the weight of possession then just stayed in Leeds' favour, and we were chasing our tail, and then fatigue started setting in. It becomes even harder. But yeah, the first two that got the momentum for them was they were really disappointing from our side.
Len, this is the first time you've been in charge of this team and suffered such a defeat. How do you pick them up after this?
Well, look, we've come off the back of 2 wins, and we were never singing and dancing and saying we were getting carried away, and we think with the finished article we know we've got plenty of things to work on and plenty of things to improve on as a group, and obviously there are going to be setbacks along the way. This is a pretty big one, but the good thing about Rugby League is we get another go next week, and we need to make sure we recover right. We're looking to what went wrong today, which there's plenty of things to fix up, as we know, but ultimately we'll get another crack next Thursday.
And finally, for you, I know that you want this job on a permanent basis. Have you scheduled an interview? Do you know what the process will be? Have you spoken about it publicly?
No, I haven't. No, not yet. Not to anybody. I've just been focusing on the job in hand, and I'll leave that with the powers that be. I'll just keep concentrating on the job at hand, and obviously I've got a game to watch back and obviously critique pretty seriously from tonight.
Thank you for talking to us.
No worries.
Well, amongst their next 5 games, they got first, second and third currently on the table. And one thing they will definitely have to fix up, John Wilkin and Kevin Brown, is defence. 51 missed tackles in the match.
Huge.
They're being effective amongst them as well, or added on to that.
It's a long time since I've seen that many missed tackles. When I saw the stat, I actually thought, that can't be right. But, you know, when you see the pictures on the back of it, it wasn't just missed tackles because they were shooting out the line and trying to belt someone. It was missed tackles on the line that was soft, and they were turnstiles, and they scored tries off the back of it.
What do you guys do? Catch your minds back when you're teammates, when you have a defensive performance like that.
Well, do you know what? It's almost infectious, isn't it? When physically you're not right and you're not quite there, you find often people ricochet out of tackles, people are getting in awkward positions to make good contact. I just thought Huddersfield, once they lost it, couldn't find the energy to get it back. And then it's a cycle that you can't get out of. Your energy's down, you then make even worse decisions, your contact becomes worse, and some days it just spirals, and it spiralled out of Huddersfield's control. And actually, it was a loose game, both sides, wasn't it? Like, Leeds were loose here, defensively. It was a game where Leeds were fantastic in attack, but very loose defensively.
It looks to me like that they expected to walk on the field because they've got the players back, that they could just attack the way out of trouble. They didn't value the defence, and when you don't value defence, you get what you deserve in rugby league, and it's a physical game. The most physical side, they compete, don't they? It doesn't mean you necessarily win, but you compete. Tonight they were beaten up physically.
I've got a funny feeling we'll hear from a coach now who says he's got defensive problems and wasn't too happy with leaking 22 points. Here's Brad Arthur with Jenna.
Yeah, we were just having a chat off camera there. Brad Arthur, I was going to start with asking you what the best bit about that 80 minutes was, but instead, where do you want to see improvements?
Yeah, defence. It needs to be more important to us at the moment. We just lack a bit of concentration at times. And I'm more than happy to back them, and when we move the ball and we take a few chances and we want to play like that, I'm happy to do that. But our response when we come up with an error or we don't turn the ball over how we want to turn it over, we need to respond better with our defence. Look, right from the start, the kick-off went out on the full, and we need to show more desperation on our trial line.
There were plenty of positives.
Look, there's plenty of positives. We just, you know, like you're always chasing that perfection. Unfortunately, you're never going to get it. Then we know that, but we also know we're better than that. So at least, you know what, keeps us grounded, and they mightn't touch a footy this week. It might just be all defence.
Oh, there you go. I noticed at the closing stage of the game, McDonald, Lockie Miller and Ash Hanley all came off. Any concerns there? Or
No, just trying to get some more game time into some other guys. You know, we're very fortunate at the moment with their health of the team. So, you know, there was 20 minutes ago when we took Lockie off, and we can move Chank around a little bit, and just we hadn't put Callum on the field. I haven't played Callum a lot the last couple of weeks. You know, he's very important to us, and where we can, we will just manage their load. We're not going to rest any guys. We're just going to try and share the workload a bit.
Luxury having so many players available.
So many good ones.
Yeah, so many.
Which really helps. But that also, you know, keeps pressure on them, because we've got some good quality players that aren't in the team and they want to be in the team.
You've certainly assembled a pretty special team. It is appearing at this stage of the season. I just want to close with asking you about the England head coach role. We know that you've applied for it. Assuming that we might hear some news next week. But how do you think the interview went? Are you confident? Are you hopeful?
I think it went all right. I don't know, you'll have to ask them. Look, it's exciting. I'd love the opportunity. My club's right behind me. I'm very grateful to get the interview to start with. I'm very grateful for the club for putting me in this position, but probably more grateful for the players, because, you know, if they weren't playing well and they weren't buying in, you know, it wouldn't be in consideration. There's 4 or 5 good coaches in the mix, and we'll see what happens.
Well, I wish you all the very best of luck for that, Brad.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we'll dive into that story next week on Sky Sports. Brad Arthur, one of the candidates to coach England in the World Cup. He's about to go in and deliver a message to his players that there's no ball coming out this week, and you're going to have to do a shed load of defence in the build-up to Catalan Dragons, and then a run of Wakefield, Wigan, Huddersfield again, and then St Helens. You all shuddered.
Oh yeah, that's
shuddered when you heard that.
Do you know, that's get your gum shields out, get ready to get strapped up. You're going to beat each other up all week, Kevin, isn't it?
That's the last thing you want when you win by 50. Being told you're not going to see the ball for a good while.
Yeah. Well, 4 of the next 5 will be at home at AMT Headingley Stadium, so I suppose they could build quite a bit of momentum, the Leeds Rhinos. Look, what they did is killed off any potential Huddersfield comeback early in that second half with Cam Smith's try. Again, when you look at some of the defence in this, it's
it's simply not good enough. And if we look at the first try, the second half, Cam Smith's try, it started really how the first half finished. There's Tristan Powell. Just look at this. Cam Smith just fades to his outside shoulder, and Tuilagi follows up with a really sloppy miss off the back of it. This is just so soft, it's embarrassing. Both of them.
Yeah, that's as bad. You watch that picture and you don't deserve to win, do you? You're not putting your body on the line. This is a really tough sport, and you put in the touches of class that Leeds obviously bring. It's going to be very difficult, but every time it just looked like there was a disconnect defensively. There was no trust, and then the actual thing that you'd think is a given, the contact when someone runs near you or into your space, you've got to throw your body in there. Like both players, that is just not good enough.
I mean, Tuilagi, I said he had a grabby day. His fingers will be sore because he grabbed all night at players. You know, this was Brodie Croft's hat-trick try. Look, just a scruffy one, but willingness to compete.
Yeah, and you get that, don't you? Yeah, you get what you deserve. Leeds chased everything. You can see all the people in the picture. Well, Huddersfield have stopped running here. They've lost their enthusiasm, but I didn't think they started with that. Even though they went up, they never looked like winning this game because they weren't prepared to put the bodies on the line and value, like Brad said, you've got to value it as much as anything in the game.
46-10 at that point. You were saying to me off camera, you know, this could get very ugly. This could top 70. What happened after that? And this is probably the area that Brad Arthur will focus on. Yeah. Leeds scored 10 more points. Huddersfield scored 12.
Yeah, and it started with the Gagai try, didn't it? And you know, this is what Brad Arthur's talking about. Concentration. You turn over possession. This is sloppy contact from Brodie Croft. Gagai there's so many opportunities to stop this try for Leeds. And look, there's lots of numbers in the frame, but they probably need to do better. You know, and look, Leeds were just too good. Mike Acevo dots it down for his 13th of the year. Then this is the one that I'm just flabbergasted with. Tom Burgess clocks off wildly on the inside of the line.
And that's the disconnect, John, isn't it? There's over-chase, there's under-chase. It just looks like they've been thrown together and there's no system there. But effort is the thing that you shouldn't have to negotiate, and there is no effort there.
I just love to see, you know, real scrambling efforts from Huddersfield. It just wasn't there. Yet again, you know, this is the stuff Brad Arthur will be disappointed with, for sure. You know, and he'll work hard on that chase back. You know, when your line's broken, chasing back, you're going to concede line breaks, but you've got to deal with it better than that. Ollie Russell closing the game out with the try.
All right, just confirmation of the final scoreline. Leeds Rhinos with their 2 competition points and a 56 to 22 points victory go top of the Betfred Super League table. Of course, earlier today we saw the champions Hull Kingston Rovers demolish Toulouse Olympique. They move into the top 6. St Helens, Warrington, Wigan, Wakefield making up the final playoff places at this early stage of the season. Just briefly, I want to frame it around the Brad Arthur's interview for the England job, but I want to talk about Leeds. How much of an improvement has Brad Arthur made in his 50 games in charge of Leeds?
Well, he's made Leeds a more difficult side.
But beyond that, he'll be assessed for the England job, is probably what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's made a huge difference to Leeds. You know, Leeds were an easy side to roll physically. They got defensively broken down at will at times under Rowan Smith, and he came in and shored that up. That's why the defensive performance tonight would hurt so much, because he's built Leeds into a side, Kev, that are just difficult to play against.
Well, they're contenders now, aren't they? I don't think they were before he came in, and their attack's much better, but I think defensively he demands much more. My question would be, there's still an inconsistent cloud over him. Why is that? I don't know why it is. They've got so many good players, but sometimes they can just not turn up. That's the only question mark around Leeds at the moment.
Which damaged them, of course, in the Challenge Cup defeat to Wakefield, which was followed up by a Super League defeat to Hull FC. All right, another side has had a difficult start to the season, who are, we would thought, going into the season, playoff contenders, are Lee Leopards. Tonight they were over at York, taking on the York Knights, who were hoping to avoid a 5th consecutive defeat. Just 2 in at the half-time, Lee led 8-6 before Josh Charnley scored to extend the lead. York never come back into it.
Yeah, no, Lee needed a performance, didn't they? And they needed a fluency in their attack. There's been big shifts in the halves. You know, you think about Lockie Lamb and Cook combining. It's Cook with a short ball.
Jacob Alakwenke goes over 18-6 after that.
But so they needed that. That's just such a big win, isn't it? Because it's just been such a difficult start to the year. Adrian Lamb's been dealing with injuries like many teams have, but there's almost been a loss of identity in the Leeds team, that were so fluent with the ball, Kev, like flamboyant, almost consistent with the ball, and that's really been disrupted.
Yeah, it's been disrupted by a few reasons, but I think the spine, again, hasn't been on the team settled.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cook's come in and he's not had his full-back there, he's not had his hooker there, so with Papa, they're going to start getting some momentum. That's a tough win, because we've seen it before. York, for everything that we spoke about defensively and resilience, well, they've got that. They probably just don't have the quality in throughout the squad.
OK, if you were with us last night over the MKM Stadium in Hull, you would have seen us cover this potential NRL investment into the Northern Hemisphere Rugby League. And we interviewed Rodri Jones, the Managing Director of Rugby League Commercial. And over on a visit, the NRL Chief Executive, I beg your pardon, Andrew Abdo. Here's what they had to say.
While the game is growing really well in the Southern Hemisphere and, you know, Australia and New Zealand and the Pacific, we also want the game to be strong here.
Well, I'm very confident that something will happen, because I think we will find solutions to those potential red lines that we're talking about. But you can never say it will come off.
We did take a few steps forward because it's a common understanding around what our objectives are. In terms of the actual mechanics of the deal and how that all fit together, there are a few things still to work through, and obviously that's what we're going to focus on over the coming weeks.
We have to make sure this is the best deal for the sport. The obvious one is the one with the NRL and the conversations ongoing with that, but we have other interest as well, which is also something that we have to exhaust.
I believe there is yet no formal offer, is that correct?
This is something that, if it's going to happen, it needs to happen over the course of the next few weeks and months, not years.
How persuaded have the clubs been from what they have heard from Andrew Abdo, both in person and from what has been fed back from the meeting that was held yesterday with executives from Rugby League Commercial and the RFL? Jenna, you have been trying to find out. What have you found out?
I have found out a little bit. I think first and foremost, the biggest news that came out of yesterday was the fact that there is still no formal offer on the table from the NRL in terms of this potential partnership with Super League. Now, the people that I spoke to today, my understanding is that the majority of Super League clubs are certainly interested in this potential partnership. There's a handful, however, who still do want more information. They need some more convincing. Now, I know that you spoke to Andrew Abdo ahead of the game yesterday. I sat down with him for an episode of the Bench podcast. Now, the biggest thing that I took out from what he said in that, I put a hypothetical question to him. I said, if you were in charge of Super League, what would be the first thing that you would change? And he said, a clear vision, strong leadership, and everyone moving in the same direction, everyone following the one goal. Now, I found that very interesting. I also tried to push him on a deadline. When are we going to know whether this is happening or not? Peter V'landys during Vegas mentioned the end of May. Well, Abdo didn't exactly confirm that. He didn't deny it. But what he did say was this needs to be done sooner rather than later. So I'm thinking we're going to know something firm in... It's a matter of weeks, isn't it? It's not months. It's going to be weeks.
OK, those interviews also available wherever you get your podcasts from. Right. Start with you.
Yeah. The golden vote. I wanted to talk about that because the RFL, you know, for this to get passed, it has to get voted through for the clubs. And now what I understand, it needs a 3/4 majority of the clubs, and then the RFL have a golden vote, and that vote is a veto right. So they need 11 of the Super League clubs to agree to this. And then the RFL's, you know, that majority will get it through. But the RFL still have a right to veto at that point. They can go against it, which is unlikely and not likely
They
to
will be
happen.
taking into consideration all the other members of the RFL.
Exactly, the council. The council is made up of Championship clubs and Super League clubs, and the likelihood is that that wouldn't happen. Obviously, the RFL aren't going to vote down a decision of where the majority of the Super League clubs are interested. I think the interesting thing is the content of the deal. I think the premise of the deal we are all absolutely comfortable with. I think, actually, I came away... Do you know what I came away last night? I came away so excited about the future of the game. And I can't honestly say, hand on heart, I've felt that for 10, 15 years. Genuinely, I came away and I thought, wow, this is a time. This is a moment for the sport.
What did you think when you heard from Andrew Abdo?
Well, the first thing is they clearly want independence, and I think independence for so much, many millions to put in isn't a lot to ask for. They want independence for the good of the game as a whole. It's not always going to fit with a certain club, and it'll probably disappoint a couple of clubs each time, but for the good of the game, that's what everyone wants. And my big question would be, what's the alternative? If we don't get a deal and we don't get a cash injection,
they say there are investment alternatives to the NRL.
Yeah, well,
that's what has been said.
Private equity is money from outside of our sport. The beauty of the NRL deal is it's money, rugby league money, going back into the game, and there will not necessarily be a projected payback on that. You know, the private equity is a ruthless industry, isn't it? And they will come in and demand results. I think there's a couple of things that I find really interesting about the deal, the content of it, the IMG's part in it all, which is an interesting conversation, and as I said, the detail of this deal will be what will get it over the line.
What has been suggested as swinging this, well, helping swing this in favour of the NRL would be rugby league money in rugby league money, rugby league people investing in
rugby league minds, Brian, isn't it? That they are going to send and change the trajectory of the sport in the UK.
Will one of the issues be that the NRL will demand too many people on this independent panel? There'll be a push from Super League clubs, you'd imagine, to retain some element of control through who is on that panel. Now, I think a sticking point could well be the amount of people that the NRL will look to put in situ, and maybe their resistance to who we suggest to go in situ from our side.
Partnership was a word that Andrew Abdo used frequently, and rugby league rowing together and getting together, and geez, we're good at fragmenting at times, and I think this is one of those moments, I think, where the game has got to very quickly decide over here, are we all going together? Enough of the fractious behaviour. And a man I think who hasn't been talked about enough in all of this is Nigel Wood, the new chair of the RFL, because I don't think anybody knows the ecosystem of rugby league in this country. And I've butted heads with Nigel plenty of times, both publicly and privately. But I'm happy to say this. I'm not sure there's many people who know the ecosystem of the game over here better than Nigel. So if there is somebody to get everybody together and rowing in the one direction and presenting a unified competition to be investable in, it could be Nigel Wood.
It could be, but what I took from Andrew Abdo's comments is he talked about, Peter Volandis talked about when you spoke to him in Vegas, a 10-year plan, right? That sets a goal. It sets an end point. And then people align behind that. Now, Nigel may well be able to corral public support in this country, the ownership of the clubs, to get behind
That's the point I'm making. That's the point I'm making.
But I'm saying what I get excited about is setting a point 10 years down the line that is NRL driven, that we can all get excited about driving towards, and then we all line up behind that. I think there's an interesting political, social thing going to go on where the clubs have got to actually agree to the deal. That I'm not so excited about, because that's going to be tricky. But getting behind an NRL-based impact into Super League.
Put the game first. Put the game first.
Yeah.
I know it's really easy for us to say
isn't it?
we've not put millions in, but put the game first for the next generation.
Well, I want
kids.
to talk about that because you do coach kids. You're a player agent. You know that any investment must not just go into top-tier wages. The important point is you've got you've got to fund the centre and you've got to fund the grassroots all the way down.
Everyone's got to have something to strive for. I think the first thing that we need to do is look after the Championship, because the Championship is a great product. I think if you give them a complete shut door and no money, they'll all die, them clubs, and that's not what we want to see. We want to see them clubs flourishing, because they're the hearts of communities all over England. And then the reserve grade, the academies, we want to see the investment put in there, and then the grassroots. The grassroots is so important because they're the future stars, and I'm so passionate about it because I've coached kids all the way up, and that is my passion, coaching kids. And what we've got to make sure is that they're looked after and they have a dream and aspire to be Super League players like they see Reece Walsh in the NRL. We can be part of this with the partnership that excites not only John and ourselves, but the kids watching on telly.
Participation. It's the big difference between us and the NRL. It always has been. It's been a driver of their commercial success. It's a driver of their athletic recruitment and their talent at the top of their pyramid. The base is so wide. They have over 1 million people playing rugby league in their country. We have 50,000. Like, participation at every level is what will drive success in this game.
Right, well, we'll keep you across this story on Sky Sports News and Sky Sports Digital. It will roll and roll, but it is weeks rolling into perhaps a month or so, but not months, says Andrew Abdo. We might have news and a conclusion in the upcoming weeks. OK, we've got 5 more live games for you coming up here on Sky Sports. Mix of NRL and Super League action. Well, we'll continue tomorrow. South Sydney up against the Dragons. Under pressure, bottom of the table, Shane Flanagan. Well, might we see him in Super League sooner rather than later? 8:30 a.m. Sky Sports Plus for that. Then we're at a packed DIY Kitchen Stadium in Wakefield for the visit of the Bradford Bulls. 5-3 Sky Sports Plus. Warrington taking the trip over to France to take on the Catalan Dragons on the hunt for a new coach. Sunday sees Jason Riles and the Parramatta Eels taking on the Canterbury Bulldogs. That's 7:05 Sky Sports Action. Sky Sports Plus, and round 8 of the Betfred Super League will conclude with Castleford looking for a first win at Wigan since 2017. 5-3 Sky Sports Plus for that. My thanks to John Wilkin and to Kevin Brown for the Acu Stadium here in Huddersfield, where we've seen the Leeds Rhinos go top of the table, put on a display in attack certainly. Some questionable defence from both sides. Till next time, bye-bye.